Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the first ever extra episode of Attractions Magazine Expansion Drive podcast. We are normally your source for all the nerdy news of the week, but this week we have a special episode, guys. I'm very excited about this. This is our first ever Spoilercast. So we really wanted to talk about Star Wars: The Last Jedi on the show, but we don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't watched the movie yet. So if you have not watched, warning, this is your final warning. If you have not watched Star Wars: The Last Jedi, do not listen to this podcast. Nope. Do not watch this podcast. Nope. We are going to spoil everything. So please do not listen to this. Do not watch this if you have not watched the movie yet.
You have been warned. You can't come at us now.
Yeah, because I don't want to see any comments on YouTube. I don't want to see any comments on iTunes. No Podbean, no Google Play, no nothing. We're spoiling the movie.
Now let's talk about Jar Jar. Wow, what a scene.
Every time before you talk, just like, there's a spoiler coming, and then
warning. So first off, I've seen the movie 3 times this weekend. I love the movie just as much the third time as I did the first time. And I see on the Twitters and on the Facebooks and on the Instagrams, there's a lot of hate for this movie. A lot of hate.
Insane. People are calling for it to be taken away from canon.
Yeah, I saw that petition.
Get over it.
I saw that.
13,000 signatures are on that petition. So
how would you know unless you put your name on that?
Yeah, Brittani.
Yeah. Tweet about it. My God.
I just think, look, okay, I'm going to give the microphone.
If you guys want, just take it off the thing.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, just share it that way.
Yeah.
Listen
and
here.
How do you feel?
We got Mean Gene Tori Fett over there.
I forgot I was going to say this entire.
We're talking about the hate and whatnot.
The hate of the movie.
People are like, I no offense, I think you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah.
I think people are being a little dramatic in saying that it's the worst Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah.
I agree.
I highly disagree.
Yeah.
I can agree with that statement.
Wait a
minute. You agree that it is the worst?
No, I agree that people are being too dramatic about it.
Okay, yes.
Deeds, do you want to share? I don't know if do you want to share? I mean, we're used to being face to face, so it's all right. Yeah. It's so funny because we saw it Thursday night. Banks and I saw it Thursday night with the Parks Blog event, and I did not hear one person be like, "Oh no!" Everybody was,
It was get hype in real life.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like there was like standing ovation after the movie ended, and it was the same way Friday morning. I saw it 9 a.m. Friday morning, the same exact way. Fraka, the wife, she loved it. She was tearing up at the end just as much as I was. Saturday, it was a little bit more laid back. I guess because all the the crazy fan base nerds saw it.
Already saw it.
Yeah, the real fans already saw it.
Not you, Didi.
But yeah, I was really surprised to get home. It really wasn't so much Thursday night. It was really like Friday night or so that I started to read all the hate for it, saying this was not a true Star Wars movie. Rian Johnson should be taken away from making anything else Star Wars. It was
too late for that. But
and I was reading those too, and then all the rebuttal articles too. And I think my favorite one, I forget who put it out, but it was titled "Last Jedi doesn't care what you think about Star Wars, and that's why it's great."
Yeah,
and it's
exactly
excellent
why it's great.
points.
It's exactly why it's great, and that's why and again, like I said, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not gonna tell you're wrong for not liking the movie.
Right.
My issue with most of the reviews and the complaints it's very simple to where it's like, oh, what I expected to happen didn't happen.
Exactly.
What I really wanted to happen didn't happen.
And I'm seeing a lot of.
I don't think that's a good enough reason to
It's
ask for it to be taken from canon.
It's almost like the Marvel movie formula that everyone wanted to be predicted, like a predictable movie of Doom. And when it wasn't predictable, everyone's like, "What is this? This is garbage! What the heck?"
And that's one thing I'm seeing from the other side too. You're saying like everyone's entitled to their opinion, and that's definitely true. But a lot of people that hate it are telling people who liked it, you shouldn't like it.
Exactly.
And here's why.
Again, everyone should have their own opinion.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel like there should be a little more method behind the I didn't like it than it wasn't what I expected to happen. And I think that's why it was great.
I can agree with that. I feel like you need to have a basis for your criticisms other than saying like, oh, my theory didn't come true. No, I don't think that that's a good reason to be angry about that. That's not why I didn't like parts of it. But I think that this was going to be a movie that would make people mad no matter what. Because you had the people who wanted it to be Empire, and then you had the people who didn't want it to be Empire, and both sides are going to get mad. And they won't get what they want.
Go ahead, Tori.
One of my other really big things that makes me very upset is the people who are upset that The Force Awakens was too safe
That's
and
exactly
blah,
what
blah,
I was
blah,
just
are
gonna
the
say.
same people that hate this movie.
Same thing.
What are you doing? Sorry, I'm not trying to point fingers.
No.
I find it really frustrating. I literally feel like Ryan Gosling where he's like, what do you want in the rain? What do you want?
Yeah.
Like, tell me what you want.
Yeah, and it's exactly what it was. They're like, oh, it's too different. Luke shouldn't have been like this, or Leia shouldn't have done that, or whatever.
We gonna talk about
this.
this.
We wanted to. I was totally fine with it being completely different because it wasn't nothing of what I expected, and I was more surprised by it than like what I expected to go into, and like finding out who Snoke was this or who Rey's parents were, and this and that, and. I was more surprised. I was happy because I was surprised that it wasn't giving me what I thought I was going to get.
I was glad I walked out of there not being like, oh, I kind of expected that to happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that happened.
And I'm not saying it's the perfect Star Wars movie. It's not my favorite Star Wars movie. I think I put on Twitter, I think it's maybe my third or fourth favorite.
It's top three for me.
I love the movie. I love the movie. I think it had so many great moments. There are going to be some gripes. There were some things I'm like,
Yeah, there's some gripes. Definitely some
but
gripes.
I love the movie.
I do have gripes.
I love the movie. Didi, what were your overall thoughts? Because I saw it with you. I saw it 2 times already before we even saw it together. And you were doing backflips in certain parts. We're gonna go scene by scene.
Doing crazy black flips during some
black flips.
Black flips.
Is that because you're black, or
That's right, because I'm black. The first time I saw the movie, of course, the hype train is real. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Woo! There's nothing wrong with it. It's great."
On a Star Wars high.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I did not put it above Episode 3 or Episode 5, of course, but it is probably, I think, my third or fourth favorite Star Wars movie. Mm-hmm. I do have my gripes after the second time watching it.
Okay.
Like, can I go into detail?
We'll go scene by scene and see what everybody thinks about whatever.
Well, mainly about some certain characters and how a huge, probably I would say 20 to 30 minutes could have been cut out of the movie.
Mm-hmm. That is,
but
right.
Everybody's gonna say Canto Bight, right?
Basically, the Mass Effect casino scene,
Yeah.
and the Chocobo racing.
I like that a lot.
Oh, that.
See, and it's funny because Didi and I talk about all the time that we listen to Kind of Funny, which is our favorite podcast, and they all hated the movie. They hated it. But the one thing I agreed with Greg Miller about. There was something about Canto Bight that I couldn't put my finger on that I didn't like about it. And going back and watching it the second and the third time, I realized what it was. It's all CG. There was not very many practical effects in that scene. And I'm just like, something was throwing me off, or I didn't like it. Something was off about it.
It felt to me very prequel-y.
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
I agree with that. I was a little disappointed with the lack of like actual physical aliens and stuff like that. But I'll go into that when we get to it. I liked it for a certain reason.
Yeah.
I love good animal liberation. So
was everybody cool with character wise? The only person I really had I did like with Rose, is that her name, right?
Rose, yeah.
So I
like Rose too.
A lot of this stuff was cheesy. To the point where it was just like,
but have you seen original Star Wars? Like, that's but original Star Wars is cheesy too.
But I mean, to the point of like, ugh. Like I was fine with it the first time, and I think, like you were saying, like with watching it the second and even third time, like the whole kiss thing with Finn at the end. We'll get and go.
I didn't like that.
I
thought he was going after Rey. He was always like, "Where's Rey?"
Ray and Poe.
Stop banging my table.
Ray and Poe.
Yeah, we're gonna
Rey and Finn.
Ray and Poe.
I have issues with some characters.
All right. So let's. Didi, you wrote some notes. So we're gonna go.
A lot of notes.
We're gonna go scene by scene and see what everybody thinks about everything.
So I would say it real quick. The way I did by scene, though, is every time there's a transition.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
that's fine.
Sorry.
All right, so I was just gonna say, I think the movie opened up with I think one of the coolest star fights that has ever been
Best ever.
I was on the edge of my seat for so long of that.
I think real Ryan Johnson.
That was crazy.
My favorite one before this was 3, when they're getting ready to try and save the Emperor.
Oh heck yeah!
With the buzz droids.
Yeah. I love the buzz droid thing. I loved it, but this I think started out in such a way that you knew this wasn't going to be your stereotypical Star Wars movie. Poe in Force Awakens, I think, started off with a little bit of humor when he was like, all right, do I talk? Do you talk? I don't know what's supposed to be the rules. But when the whole thing starts off with the whole, yes, I'll hold for General Hugs, please. By the way, did he say hugs or did he say hugs?
He did say hugs.
Okay,
He at
because
one point said hugs.
that's what I thought.
Skinny guy. Pacey
Yeah.
Pacey
I want to tell him something about his mother. Like
I literally made it your mom joke.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
him so much.
When it started out with that type of humor, I'm like, this isn't a Star Wars movie. Like this is something completely different than what we're used to. This is gonna be completely different. And I think from there, like you knew going into it, like you're in for something different than what you completely thought it was gonna come. Was everybody cool with the humor there?
Go.
Okay, I felt that some of the humor was very funny. Like I loved the Poe Yo Mama bit, and I thought that the whole "Do you feel it?" Yes, I feel something.
That was probably
that
like
was
one of the favorite
so
scenes.
funny.
Let's get there. We'll get there later.
But
I just meant like
I'm just talking about
in general.
But
Okay.
I feel like most of the humor felt very Marvel-y, formulaic to me.
I agree with her on that one too.
In the seriousness of Star Wars in certain places, because this is, the middle film. It's supposed to be the most intense, the most emotional.
Yeah.
Sets things up for the finale. I
Is
felt
it
was
though?
too funny.
Is it though? Is it
supposed to be, or are you
is there this mold that you automatically think that this is supposed to be huge? No, I'm not like dropping bombs. I'm just saying like I think that's what Rian Johnson went out to do was to say like this isn't what you should be expecting. This is
was Luke's line. This isn't going to go the way you think it is.
Or also the whole line from the whole movie is exactly what Kylo says.
Yes, what Kylo said.
Let the past die.
Yeah.
Kill it if you have to. And that's exactly what Rian Johnson did with this movie. And I'm totally fine with that.
And I get that. However, I feel like some of the humor was displaced and a little forced in places. That's what I was trying to get
There were one
at.
or two things I was like, was that necessary?
Yeah,
Like some of it was cringy.
What?
And I didn't like that Luke threw his lightsaber
I thought
over
it was
the
hilarious.
cliff.
I thought that was
great.
I thought that was great.
The
I was
nipple
just
was unnecessary.
okay.
I think.
Yeah,
Although I
the
liked
the
Luke's
nipple
smug
was
look.
a little cringy. Yeah.
I thought the last humor scene technically with Kylo giving Hux that look at the end when
it's like, yes, some great
and then he just gives him this look like the heck, you know what I mean? I thought that was a little like out of place, especially with such an intense
Or like, did you get
moment?
him?
Oh
You
wait, at
think
the
you got
toward
him?
the end on Crait,
Yeah.
where he's like, "Do you think we got him?"
Yeah,
And
but
then he
there's
just
some
goes-
really good parts with them where like, well, I'll get there. Never mind. I don't want to like jump ahead.
I don't
you're
know. On initial viewing, because I've only seen it once, I want to see it again to see if my opinion changes. Some of it I felt cringe. That's all.
Okay.
Now, I didn't pick up on this until I was reading articles that BB-8 is the one that says I have a bad feeling about this in that opening scene.
In the X-wing, yes.
Yeah, when they're Poe's heading toward the Dreadnought and stuff, and BB-8 makes some noise that's supposed to sound like I have a bad feeling about this.
I didn't
That's
notice
where the
that.
line
And
was.
3 times I didn't catch
So
it.
someone on Twitter asked, they were like, "Hey, like,
Where was the line?
Where was that in the movie?" And someone was like, "That's when it was. That's when Ryan."
Yeah,
Johnson
I can hear Poe saying something to
He responded.
After,
Yeah,
okay,
he
but
says,
I totally hear it
like,
now.
what did he say? Like, happy beeps only. Like, hey, I know, but like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
type thing.
interesting. All right, so more about this scene. What else we got?
So if we're gonna go, so it was basically with the whole Rebel base. Remember, Poe goes Impossible White Man in this
Oh, God.
with
Yeah.
the flying.
And
He
it
is
was
single-handedly taking out, which is the first appearance of a Dreadnought, which is wow.
And what's really cool, so
Wow.
if you haven't played Battlefront 2, the Dreadnought is in the second part of the campaign for Battlefront 2.
Spoiler.
No.
Wow,
you-
that's a spoiler.
No, what's really cool because I played the campaign,
This
the
is
second
a
part.
Spoilercast.
Well, I mean,
The second part of the campaign before I went and saw Last Jedi, and you actually steal plans that reveals that they have this ship coming, and it's really cool. It directly ties.
so
in-
it ties into
So it's like
episode
the Rogue
9.
One of the Dreadnought.
Yeah,
Episode 8.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool.
Can we talk
And-
about Paige Tico?
Who?
Paige, the
Rose's sister.
Oh, okay.
And that
okay.
scene,
Yeah.
oh,
It gave me so
Yeah.
much
They
anxiety.
just had it
Right,
to that part,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Not me.
The funniest part about that was everybody in every single viewing that I saw was when the controller falls. Which first
yeah.
off, why is there a controller? Come on,
Yeah, like,
come on,
dude, like,
what are you doing?
come on.
But
Hey,
when the
they're working
controller,
with what they got.
yeah,
Okay.
when the controller falls past her and like
Everyone's
everybody's
like,
oh no,
I
and then
was-
she catches it. It was I was
think I
laughing
did that
every
way.
single time. Yeah, you did do it.
I did it the second time. After I'd already seen it.
Oh, the second time's funny. I'm literally just in my seat, like just typing everything on my phone. But
I really
anyway.
hope you weren't near anybody.
No, I
Okay.
purposely got front row off to the side so no one could see it.
No one would care.
So no one could. I put my thing on night mode, everything, just so no one could see it. But anyway, so besides all that, I'm just gonna try to do it as quick as possible. Poe basically annihilates all the defense surface cannons that needed to be got.
Amazing scene.
Oh, phenomenal!
He
And
does
to-
that 360. I'm sorry.
yeah. And then Leia starts spouting out some orders to say, like, let's go back. It's fine. We got this. We don't need to lose people or whatever. And Poe's like, nope, screw it. Bring in the bombers. So the bombers start coming in, and the TIE fighters start bombing, like wrecking the X-wings and the bombers. And then we get the whole bomb sequence
Yeah.
where
Can we
the
talk
single.
about how cool the bombers are in general? Like,
What were they called?
they
Did they
were
give them a
really
I
name?
want to
Not
know why they
aliens.
move so slow.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know. They look
That-
weird. They look so close to the Slave One. Have you looked?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it does,
thought that
it
too.
I
does.
think one of
They're
the
old tech, and that's why.
I think one of the bombers was James Corden.
Yeah. Well, no. The X-wing.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
everybody's thinking. Like the
Yeah.
X-wing fighter that he blows up in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
The rumor is that it's James
That's,
Corden.
that's funny. I like that.
I have to
a
go
lot.
back and look at
Because
that.
Yeah.
apparently Edgar Wright, the guy that directed Baby
He's in it.
Driver,
Yeah.
has a cameo in it, and the
Yeah, I heard about that. We're right.
Harry and
And Gareth
And
Edwards.
I was gonna say Gareth
is
Edwards
in
is
it
next to
too.
the guy that licks the salt on Crait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that's the one I pointed out to
Yeah,
you.
and I was like, oh snap, that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I love cameos.
Yeah.
Oh,
The next scene, Snoke is pretty mad, and Hux basically just said, "Hey, everything's okay. We got light speed tracking." And then 2 seconds later,
Well, first off, before you get to that part, I thought it was really cool how Snoke actually used his force powers like across the universe.
Through the
And, yeah,
hologram.
like throwing Hux down on the ground, bloody him up, and like, oh, my bad. Yeah, and that's why I was so really intrigued about Snoke and where all this was going, and then we get later down in the movie. Well,
Yeah.
so where you
I
at now?
really liked that they gave Hux something to do.
Yeah,
So I
was
really
in-
enjoyed his characterization, even if it was kind of slapstick. I feel like Domhnall Gleeson, it really benefited him, and he
Yeah.
fit in it really well. And I was glad that character was something besides just annihilate them.
I thought he was very. I thought he was
I'm
really
glad he got
neat.
more screen
He's good.
time.
I liked them.
He's.
in
I
this movie.
honestly kind of think he low key stole the show. Like, not in total, but I think
Yeah.
in terms of like the newer characters and like the further characterization of everyone else, I think that's one of my favorite progressions that I
Yeah.
saw.
I thought
Yeah, I
him.
can see that.
Yeah, I thought him and Kylo as a total got great character development.
Yeah.
in this movie.
I love their dynamic.
I love
Like
it.
when when he's leaving the throne room and Kylo's entering and he just kind of looks, he's just like,
it was very Spaceballs, like not in a bad way, but like Didi and I kept
Pulls
mentioning it
out
to
the
each
gun.
other
Ooh, I
throughout
have a chance to shoot him.
that
Oh,
was
he's moving.
incredible.
Yeah, never mind.
Incredible.
throughout the entire movie. Like we kept saying it was like a Spaceballs moment where it was
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders and Dark Helmet, to a certain extent, and I was fine with it because I really enjoyed the dynamic, like you were saying. But when he revealed that he had the tracker on him or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's when Snoke was saying, take that ridiculous helmet off, and that's
Yeah.
when. No more, Vader Kylo. He
No
destroyed
more.
that thing.
Yeah, he destroyed that.
That was
Thank
like,
goodness.
That hurt me. That hurt my feelings.
So as soon as that scene started, and you see the Praetorian guards, is that what they're called?
Praetorian, yeah.
Praetorian guards.
And they,
Those things. So I made the the joke the other day that it's basically Gears of War Royal Guards because these guys were beefed up like
They were.
crazy.
Do you
they're
think?
like scary Twizzlers?
Do you think the Praetorian guards? I'm gonna fast forward real quick. Are some of the students that Kylo got from
The
the
Knights
no,
of
that's-
Ren?
That's the Knights of Ren. That's gonna be the Knights of Ren.
I've heard people
Where
think that
are
they may
they?
be the Knights of Ren.
That's a really good question. I thought we'd see them in this movie, but
We might see him in
Next
episode
movie,
9.
I'm telling you the
Oh,
next
probably episode
one.
9 since he's
I have
the
a
man
theory.
now. Hey, listen, this is Spoilercast, people. Sorry. Anyhow, Finn does his first appearance. We see him in this like gimmick
The bubble
plastic suit.
kind of thing.
Yes.
And then the first thing he says literally is, "Where's
Where's
Rey?"
Yeah.
So there's some significance in that.
That's what I wanted.
And then we see the first appearance of Rey and Luke. We see the lightsaber scene where he just throws it off.
You could tell that they totally reshot that scene, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Because the one in Force Awakens is very overcast and there's not a lot of color there. But then here, sky's a bit more blue. There's a bit more color to them.
Awesome.
I heard that really though, because I heard that they had X amount of time on that island because that's actually a real sacred island.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's actually like legitimately what it appears to be in the movie. Like it's
Wow.
a sacred island, and they only had a certain amount of time to shoot. They had to get out quick.
A lot of it was done on sets.
I could be wrong.
Wow,
but
I didn't know that.
saw a featurette and they talked about it like they had gone twice.
Probably twice.
So
Cool.
debatable, but that's what I got from some online video that I watched. I think.
But that portion where she hands him over the lightsaber and he just throws it over the shoulder,
I thought it was brilliant.
I thought it was brilliant because he's just like, no,
Brilliant.
I don't want anything to do with this. Get the hell out of here. I'm
Yeah.
done.
And everyone was
I
thinking,
like
what's
that.
he gonna say? And
And
then all of a sudden,
can-
yeah,
Yeah,
don't
just
care.
throw it
Can
over.
we talk about the porgs almost
my God.
opening the lightsaber?
Oh my god! When that scene come up, everyone in the audience is like, "Oh no, no,
Oh, yeah,
no!"
I
that
was
was
literally
pretty
like,
funny.
no, no.
Everyone goes.
Oh,
was
we have
funny, I
pork
heard
violence
that.
later.
Yeah.
So cute. Pork nuggets.
I expected the porgs to be in the movie more than they were.
I thought they were in
I
perfect
thought it was a
amount.
perfect
Yeah,
amount.
that was
I
a
agree.
good
I
amount.
agree.
They were in it
Like,
enough.
They weren't in it enough?
They were in it
They
enough.
weren't in it enough, but I was expecting more.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't
Apparently-
forced down my throat.
I
It
feel
wasn't forced. It was like perfect. Sorry.
no, it's fine. I feel like I read somewhere. I don't know how true this is or not, but
Puffin thing.
yeah, because
Yeah.
the real island, has puffins on there,
I read that as
and
well.
so they were like they had to turn them into porgs. That's where the kind of the idea for the porgs came from, was the way to cover up the real puffins.
Yeah,
Huh.
and that's what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, that's the whole thing that I read too.
Well, they described them as the puff. Like the official description is they're basically like the puffins of the Star Wars
Yeah,
world. So that
exactly.
makes a lot of sense.
All right, what else you got, Deeds?
Okay, we see the whole. We already talked about it. The Kylo unmasking that happened, which was a very intense scene.
It was great.
That was so freaking awesome.
Grow up a
Get
little
my ship
bit.
ready.
And so then we see Rey gives Luke the breakdown of what's going on, and how basically the Resistance is basically getting
Where's
destroyed.
Han?
Where's Han?
And then we get the
that
"Where's
line.
Han?" And then Chewie and Luke have a moment. And then Luke again tells Rey to go away.
It was like some Hercules stuff. You
Get
know what I
off
mean?
my island lawn.
I feel like Didi's was like, I ain't trading you.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh my god.
Then Rey starts hearing the Force whispers from the island. Why do I have this still in my Oh, okay. And so basically then all of a sudden Luke kind of gets a hold of it, and he starts asking, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And then finally asks, why are you here?
Oh, when where he asks like where are you from? Is like she's like, I'm from nowhere.
Nowhere.
No one's really from nowhere.
Nowhere.
From Jakku. Okay, so that's basically nowhere.
Yeah.
So why are you here, Miss
Rey from
Rey
nowhere.
from nowhere? And then finally, Rey admits that she needs help, and for Hope, they need Luke. And Luke admits that Luke says that she's that he's at the planet to die, and they have the Jedi go. The Jedi religion
Must end.
must
Yeah.
die with it.
He doesn't reveal why yet, though.
Doesn't
He-
reveal
yeah.
yet why.
Yeah.
That's big. Not yet though.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to it, but I really enjoy the philosophy that Rian Johnson has kind of built around the Force now.
Mm.
I really dug that. That was cool.
That
And
it's
how he,
that it's not midichlorians.
well, just like,
Like anyone
like,
anyone could be
the
force sensitive.
vanity thing, and just like I bought into it.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the it belongs to everybody mentality, which I think kind of runs deeper into the like why the changes happen in the story, like the things that are so different.
Yeah.
Like I think it's it's not exclusive.
Yeah. All right,
Where
we,
we at now?
Okay, so we're at the part where Leia demotes Poe,
Oh, can I-
gives them a good Rocky
Can-
there's a
jump.
couple good slaps
The
in
rocks,
this movie.
the rock slap.
She's been slapping she's slapping the whole movie. Can I just hit you with some quick trivia because it made me cry a little bit?
Oh my god.
Okay. So do you know what Leia's ship is named?
The Radis.
It's named the Radis after Admiral Radis
From Rogue One.
Oh, I did not know that.
I love the Mon Calamari.
Also, the "get your head out of your cockpit" line.
Oh
Yes.
Yeah.
Carrie wrote that.
I was well,
Who did?
no surprise.
Carrie
Carrie
Fisher.
Fisher.
Oh,
wrote that
okay,
line.
okay.
Like she wrote that joke in. She was very proud of it.
Yeah. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was hilarious.
Get your head out of your cockpit.
It got a good pop every single time I saw the
It
movie.
did. It was
So.
very
Permission
funny.
to jump
Yeah.
in the next swing and blow something up.
Yeah.
Permission granted.
Aw.
But I think it was great because like she was trying to teach Poe this whole moment, like you don't have to be a hero. You just have to learn the psychology between protecting your people and all this and all that. Like you don't have to be a hero to be a leader. And finally he learned that, but not so much yet.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I'm waiting on you. I don't know where
Oh
we're
no,
at.
we were talking. Okay, so after that, Leia establishes they need to find a new base. After that happens, the First Order ends up showing up behind them, and they're like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" So you see Kylo get in his was it an interceptor?
TIE
It's-
silencer. It's a
TIE,
silencer.
Yeah, TIE silencer.
Silencer.
Yeah.
Wow. It looked
The only reason I know that is because I play Galaxy at War or whatever it's called, the mobile game, and that's
Okay.
that's the name of the ship.
wow, that thing is a
This
beast,
whole
Yeah.
sequence
That whole
offended me
spinning
deeply.
sequence.
bro.
Yeah.
I was
He
so upset
awesome
about
dogfight, which Kylo went impossible white man in that movie too. He just
You went just like very angry white man.
he
But
wrecked
I was
face.
so scared he was gonna do it, y'all. I was so scared.
Finger on the
do it.
button.
He had
And
the
then
finger on the button,
I
and then
literally was like, yes!
And then it was like, just kidding. Gosh.
instead
No, he
someone
didn't do
else
it,
did
someone else did
Someone
it.
else
I
did
was
it.
like, he loves his mama.
Aww.
As soon as like she went flying out the window, I thought it was it. I thought.
Sobbing.
Here's
I
one
was
of
like,
my.
am I
I
really
grabbed
gonna
the
have
leg
to
of the
watch
person I was
Leia
with.
die
I was
right
like,
now?
Hold on, one
I
at a
was
time, one at a
so
time, one at a
upset.
time.
Why are we surprised by that? No, I don't mean to offend people, but like
No.
I was just like, okay.
Well, here's my thing: is like I had heard obviously that they were trying to do what they can, with Carrie passing and all that. So I was just like, are they really cutting her this soon? Like, am I really gonna
was
have to
that
watch
it?
Leia die like this soon? Like, this is insane. Like, I didn't expect it that early. If it would have happened, I would
Now-
not have been surprised.
See, here's the thing that now I'm starting to agree with Didi about not watching trailers. I knew when that happened, as shocked I was at first, I was like, no, she's somehow going to survive because I've seen
other
shots
scene.
of her in
Yeah.
crates and these other shots. So
whatever,
now,
I just like I know a lot of people didn't like that sequence because like I've seen it being equated to like Mary Poppins and like turned into memes and stuff and they're
Yeah.
like
So
something about
that was gonna say that's one of my gripes with the
Biggest
movie.
gripe. Biggest
that you
gripe.
didn't like that she used the Force. To
Yeah.
put
Supergirl Leia.
It was weird. Like I just like
I mean, I like that she was able to finally use we see her actually using the
Yeah.
Force, but who's to say that she hasn't used the Force in the past? Maybe she uses the Force to help the strategy and with
It was just
battle
a-
and things like
Exactly.
that.
it was just a strange way of using it. Like
gonna wanna
you know,
talk to you.
video game wise, I've never read it in the book, so but maybe it's something that's been used before. But I've never
always-
heard of the Force being used in that way, especially being sucked into the vacuum of space. It just. Of course, my logical, thinking wise, that you're dead. You're dead right there.
At the same time, we don't know.
Both, like-
It's space. We
Yeah,
don't
just,
know
like,
what
waiting
the
our turn.
rules of space are in the Star Wars
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's just like people get mad about Darth Vader's cape flowing in the wind at the end of Rogue One.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
We're
it was one
passionate.
time. Oh my god.
I just
But I think when it happened, I was really happy because it confirmed something I always really wanted to know, and I feel like
What?
her using the Force.
Okay.
I feel like the idea of it was amazing, and I love so much. I do think the execution was maybe a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering
But
what.
I still loved it and what it represented.
How else could they have positioned her body to float back into the thing without her looking like Superman?
My thing is, if they like moved her maybe like a little closer and it wasn't as
As
far
long.
of a swoop, like maybe it would have been a little less weird.
I just like I don't know. I went into this movie thinking that they were just gonna kill her as soon as they could, just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
So as soon as she got like sucked out of that like bay inside of the ship, I just immediately started crying.
Mm.
And just seeing her right there, like
Lifeless in space.
I didn't know what to do. I was like, wow, this is like inappropriate. This is like she's dead for me. And then seeing her like slowly like
Twitch
move her
and-
fingers and open her eyes, it was just I thought it was beautiful. It was very like emotional for me because I felt like a lot of this movie felt like too meta in that it was tribute to her.
But you gotta remember it was unfortunately she did pass away, but
Yeah.
they wrote and shot that without knowing she was going to pass away.
I know. But
That's how it was
what
supposed
got
to
me
be.
about like so many of the lines to her and said by her. I felt like it was just too on the nose about her.
Well,
passing,
I definitely
so it
think
made it-
some of-
Skipping ahead, I'm sorry to skip ahead, but yeah, the line that Luke says to her, like, no one ever really is
That-
gone.
yeah.
That's when I was a mess.
Yep.
Well, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they definitely changed some of it. Like I think that line was probably definitely changed, like right at the end, like to add to it. To say that she's always going to be there. Type
Oh no,
deal.
no, apparently that was part of the script.
That was
I
there
read, I read
too?
an article
Well, because
about
they
that,
have her
that
saying
Mark Hamill
that
was saying.
leading up to that
Yeah,
line.
But I thought that was. I know people didn't like it. I really liked it. It meant a lot to me. I
Same.
thought it was
Same.
very emotionally powerful and sort of like that alone could be like a tribute to her. That entire sequence.
And it's what Leia has always deserved.
But we can't
a cheesy
pour one
sequence
out.
of floating
We
through
got to
space.
pour one out.
I'm talking about the
I
idea of
hated
it.
that
I'm
scene.
talking about what
Guys.
it represents, not
I'm not
the
saying
actual
that it
execution of it. It wasn't perfect.
We're talking about Leia, but we got to pour one out for Admiral Akbar, who also died.
I
in the
okay,
explosion.
look, man. I
Yeah.
cried more about that than with Luke. I cried
I was
more
pretty
over
bummed
Admiral
about that.
Akbar. I'm so upset.
Rest in peace, Akbar.
We love you.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Okay. With that being said, Luke sees R2 and they have a moment, and then Luke
Watch
wakes.
your language.
Huh?
said watch your language,
it's a
secret island.
That's right. Luke wakes Rey and tells her to wake up at dawn
Well,
because
you forgot. the R2 sequence I thought was really well done.
I liked it.
I was gonna say no, because you trying to kind of skip past a little
glazed
bit.
over the Leia part.
when R2 uses
Oh, that's
Leia
right.
in order to
Uses
to
Leia.
get
Much
Luke
Yeah.
to go, hey,
Yeah.
get your ass in gear.
That scene was the first time that I started to kind of see the old Luke again. Because
Yeah.
when he sees R2, he gets kind of high pitched like Luke used to me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, R2, good to see
He's
you.
not old curmudgeon Luke that's
Yeah.
kind of
Exactly.
given up.
Yeah, what I mean by that moment is that he shows the old clip from episode 4 that Leia, the distress beak call.
Yeah,
Cheap shot.
Yeah, it was a cheap shot.
yeah.
And that kind of woke Luke up and wake up Rey. But I don't think a lot of people got this. He says, "Wake up at dawn. I'll teach you 3 lessons of the Jedi and why it needs to die."
Yeah.
People missed that. I think a
I
lot of
caught
people
that,
missed that.
No,
Because
that's really important.
Because people would complain to me, 'cause not stuff I read, but people at coworkers I would have. They said, "Oh, he didn't teach Rey anything." I go, the point was to teach Rey not only some of the 3 lessons of the Jedi, but why it needs to go away.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why it needs to die. The
And
point isn't for him to learn how to use her lightsaber better or like use her force powers or anything like that a whole lot better.
They're not powers.
Listen,
And I did see people
Listen.
complaining.
listen. Just because I don't have midichlorians, you know.
They called her a Mary Sue. I saw that online too.
No, it wasn't that. It was, people complaining about how Luke didn't do 3 lessons. But then I read today that
2.
one of the lessons is going to be a deleted scene.
Really?
On the Blu-ray.
Because he did 2 before.
Yeah, they had a 3rd one, but they had to take it out for time.
What? 2.5 hours. They could have added another.
That's a bummer. I was gonna say you could add another 10 minutes.
It's on EW if you want to go check it out.
It was a little long.
See, it didn't feel
Listen.
long at all to me.
No,
If they cut out Mass Effect, that DLC part,
Yeah.
it would have been fine.
Yes.
Anywho,
They need something for Finn to do.
so rest in peace, Akbar, and we see Vice Admiral Laura
Holdo.
Dern from Jurassic Park.
In Twin Peaks.
I'm sorry. I started to hate this character until until what she did, and then I was like,
Well, I
For
totally.
real, I
think
thought
that
she
was-
was a bad guy. I was like,
That's what I
this
did
girl's
too.
working both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah, I was
me
like,
too, but the ending saved her for me.
Oh my
Now
God.
I love her so much.
we'll talk about
Like,
that in a minute. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Before the tracker thing was announced, that's what I thought that Hux planted this girl into the Resistance or whatever, and that she was the thing
see,
that was the string or whatever.
apparently, like if you read the books that are out there, if you read Leia, Princess of Alderaan, you would have already known that Holdo's been like Leia's best friend since they
Yeah,
were teenagers.
they're best friends.
Oh, okay.
Which
So
makes
you would have
it
had
even
to know
more
she
sad.
is a
Makes,
good-
makes the goodbye at the end so sad.
I don't
Yeah.
read. Come on.
Come on.
Stuff like that though makes me want to read the books.
So
High
my-
key.
They get you on
They're
that
really
one.
good.
Look
They
at that.
really
That's Twin
make
Peaks
everything
stuff.
better.
My issue with Holdo is that how you say it? Holdo?
Holdo.
No.
Whatever.
It's not Hodor.
Was her keeping all the information from everyone, basically, minus the couple people on the bridge. What sense did it make to keep the information from Poe?
Yeah.
It made no. Of course, it's going to make you sense at the end of the story, or whatever. But in a logical sense, it made no sense to keep information away.
I
He was
think
demoted. So
he was demoted.
Yeah, he
it's
was
like
demoted.
Think of it as like classified.
There's 10 people
No,
left.
think of it as classified information, like in the military. Only
It's a need to know basis.
need to know basis. I
And he-
think that. Yep, that
And
and
he-
go. Sorry.
He's a trigger happy flyboy.
Yep.
Why would she tell him?
Trigger
Why
happy
would she tell
and
him or
impulsive
anybody
and
that
Because then
could
he would
tell
jump
him?
in a ship and try to
Yeah,
save.
he would try and stop her.
Yep.
But if he knew the whole story, just like at the end of it, when he says, "Oh, wait a minute, this
But do
this
you
can
really
work."
think that I don't know if he actually would have
But
been okay with it though.
do you
Because I
get-
think the
yeah.
fact that he's already removed from the situation
Yep.
and he's with Leia,
Yep.
that changes everything for him.
Do you think
I
it-
think that
yep.
if he found it out on the ship, he'd still do something
Yep.
different.
Do you
I don't
think
think so.
if
it was
Leia
supposed to
didn't
be
put
a
him in?
lesson that
Yep.
he had to learn.
Yep. Do you think if
Exactly.
Leia didn't put him in his place at near the end of the movie that he would be just fine before that? If Leia didn't put him in his
Wait,
place.
what?
If Leia didn't put him in his place
Wait, at what point?
at near the end of the movie when she woke
walks
up
in
when
and
she
goes,
stuns him?
yeah, when
Yeah.
she stuns him, wakes up and tells, "Hey, calm down." Do you think he would have acted the same way, beforehand, if not
No,
knowing the
because
plan?
it would have been Holdo and not Leia.
I don't know.
I think he would have been. I think
It just
think
it
he
didn't make
knows. He
sense to
didn't-
me
he
at the
didn't
end.
know.
We're just like, why wouldn't you just tell him? I don't. That's the one thing that just bothered me too. Other than the whole Leia thing, was just like, all right, if you have 30 people left of the Resistance, wouldn't you want everybody to be on the same page to trying to figure out like, hey, what's the best chance of survival? Let's figure this all out as a group, as a team. Like, I didn't understand that one.
Well, because also Poe is a dude who wants to be a general and not a soldier. There has to be one general, and then the soldiers have to do whatever. Because they know that he would start like a ruckus. I think so. Knowing that they have to sacrifice the supply ship, the med ship, all this stuff, and then eventually the cruiser.
Yeah, and I
to get
loved him,
to-
and he did cause ruckus even without the information.
He did, and then
Lost
even
all the
even
bombers,
and even
like all of them.
and then even when he learned about the whole going on the escape pods to go to that planet, he's like, "What are you doing? They're unarmed. They're all gonna die."
Yeah, Mike, would you honestly give someone all the information that you had about your escape plan after he literally lost your entire fleet of bombers, your biggest weapons? Would you tell him
That's
everything?
actually a good point.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm not in that
You're
situation.
lying.
I'm not in that situation. I'm just talking about in a logical movie sense. It did not make sense to me.
okay, I
So
understand
in
that.
a situational
Oh my
wartime
God,
sense,
I'm-
it does.
So you would willingly let your
Jesus
superior-
Christ. It's a freaking Star Wars movie. I'm just saying it did not make sense to me. I'm
see,
not
but
here
I
to
don't-
argue the
I know,
point.
I
I'm
know.
just saying it did not make sense.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you're saying like it from a movie standpoint, but like it furthered the movie along and it made sense.
It made the movie another half hour longer than what it should have been.
God.
Also, who's to say that if Holdo told him, "I'm going to turn this thing around and go to light speed and just plow through this thing," do you think he would try to stop her?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I think he would. I don't think he would let anyone sacrifice himself. So
Why would he not? If it was going to stop everybody from killing everybody else, why would he stop? Why?
No, because he would rather fight than let anyone die. So
Well, you're just contradicting yourself. He
No,
just
I'm
let
not.
everybody die in the very beginning just
Okay,
to
but that
kill the one
wasn't-
thing.
Obviously, he didn't want everyone to die. He was in the fray.
He
that
saw
whole
an
time.
opening and he
There
thought
was a
we
chance
could get
for him
them.
to die too.
And that's what she saw an opening in order to take down this whole dreadnought.
yes,
Or to
but
take
if
down-
she told him, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do," do you think he would be like, "No, absolutely not. It's too dangerous."
No.
Okay.
Let's move to the next scene.
Let's just agree to disagree on this
In
one,
other
guys.
news-
Next scene.
We see Rose and Finn have their little first time meeting, which I thought was a really neat. I thought that was a neat scene.
I kind of like how she's a
The Finn.
fangirl,
The
basically.
The fangirl. The Finn.
May
The
the
Finn.
force be with you.
And he's like, "All right, may the force be with you. Get on your way.
And then
I need to leave."
How quickly she turns when she realizes that he's gonna.
That he was basically
Yeah.
Good
not.
for her.
Would you say he
Yeah.
was going to desert? Would you call it desertion?
Yes.
he was,
It's
really?
still
Oh, he-
desertion, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
done it before.
Even though he was gonna try to find Rey.
Yeah, but
When
that-
S hits the fan, Finn deserts, and that's what he did in The Force Awakens, and
Oh.
that's
and
what
let's be
he was
honest,
going to do.
even though it's kind of admirable what he's doing, kind of,
Yeah.
but like he's still deserting all of the crew and he's not telling anybody, and he's leaving on the idea that Rey would come back when he doesn't even know
Yeah.
if that's going to happen.
Like Rose said,
Right.
selfish.
Ah,
Because
I never
remember,
thought of it like
he's
that.
the one that convinced them to take him to not the Death Star. What the hell? Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
Just to get Rey. It was like he had no plans of how's
We
everyone
can
else.
use the Force.
You're right.
Like he just wanted to get to Rey.
yeah, yeah.
I love that part. Well, I love that part where he's like, "I'm the guy who used to mop the floor."
Yeah. what all did he used to clean up? Jeez, first he was on Starkiller Base, and now he's also on Snoke's ship.
Thingy.
Come on, you
Okay.
cleaned a lot of stuff there, Finn.
And then Rose tells Finn about how they got tracked via the gimmick.
Yeah,
And
Which,
and
Finn
do-
tells Rose that.
and
I
he
do
tells
love that we
Rose.
now know that Rogue One set that up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes.
Crazy. And
He
Finn
can't.
tells
He
about
can't
the
feel his
lightspeed-
teeth.
He can't feel his teeth.
What did you shoot me with?
And so they have a plan about finding the master code breaker with the Umbrella Corporation pin.
Which I will say, that scene with Maz, that finally, I was like, now I understand why Maz's transmission on Star Tours looks the way it does.
Yes, I was so happy. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to know, because this is another thing that bothered me. I don't want to know if everybody else thought the same thing. Why contact Maz?
That I was thinking the same thing. Made no
So
sense.
How does
I
Poe
think-
know
Because-
Maz?
Cameo.
I think because she works in that like Cantina Castle thing, and lots of people come.
I
Uh,
thought that got
there.
destroyed. Like
It's her
we're
castle.
yeah,
But she
It's
she
her-
owned
But
that for
she-
thousands of years.
But she does deal with the underground, so I
That's
can't
right, yeah.
I can't
She's
understand
part
that
of
point.
community where she would know someone.
did
I found
Was-
it believable. I didn't like how it was delivered because I was like, "Oh, they recycled Star Tours footage for this. Cool."
Oh.
See, I thought that makes a cooler connection personally.
was it made known before that Poe knew who Maz was?
No, we
'Cause,
we
like,
never knew that Poe knew Maz.
Yeah,
before.
that's what I was curious.
But
And,
you
like-
have to wonder because obviously Han had a history with Maz. We kind of hinted on that in Force Awakens. So if Han had a history, you got to imagine
Possibly.
that people in the Resistance
Leia
would have
probably
also have had
did,
a
yeah.
history.
And we don't know if these characters, like Finn was there at Maz Kanata's castle. He
Yeah.
could have told Poe about it.
It's true.
Like,
I just thought it was
No,
a
I get
very
it.
strange thing. Like
I
I know
totally
who
get
I
it.
can contact in order to get me there, and it's Maz Kanata. What? Who?
Yeah.
What?
she's
Why?
Also, I
Why?
feel like everyone knows who she is. They may not know her, but they know who she is. So.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
she's like Kevin Bacon, like the 7 degrees or whatever. Like she knows
Get out
everyone.
of here! Get out of here!
Everyone knows her.
Okay. We see Kylo get stitched up, and we see the first time Ren and Kylo have their whole like
Their
Jedi
Skype thing.
That was weird, but I'm here for it.
Everybody saw
Like
it,
Or
right?
Skype.
call?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they-
the Skype.
you saw that, like emo Kylo Ren on Twitter. He's like, "Yo, so does Skyping count as a date or whatever?"
No, the one where it was like, do you both have to know it's a date
Oh,
for
yeah.
it to be a date?
So it was really funny because like I wasn't sure like what was really going on at first. Like when she shot, and then I was like, "Wait a minute,
You
are they
felt it,
are they
yeah.
there?" Like I don't understand what's going on, and that's what I was talking about earlier when you got shot on the VR
Is it
experience.
Banks, is that you in the VR?
Yeah, was that is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
Like,
okay.
And that's what I immediately thought of. But like, when he feels as though he's shot, and then they're both running in order to get away, but they still see each other. So that was really cool. Like, I almost want to see what they're seeing. Like, do they basically?
I'd
just
love
see-
how they shot it.
Yeah,
I
like,
really love that.
Yeah, you're not seeing what they're seeing. You're just seeing like that opposite person in their scene.
like when Kylo's like, "What are you seeing? I can't see you."
yeah, I
You
don't see
my
anything behind you.
surroundings?"
Yeah.
I would assume it's kind of like how when Kylo sees into what's his face's mind, Aiden's boyfriend, went at the very end of the Battlefront
Yeah.
Part 1 campaign. I would assume it's like that. Like the person's mind creates this environment around it, and it's just continuous. It's like on a track. Have you?
But it
have
wasn't
you
even
guys-
Kylo's mind that was creating it. It was Snoke that was creating it.
Yeah. So I would assume it's like that if that's what the internal Star Wars, what their minds look like. But
I pictured it to look like, I don't know if y'all seen Stranger Things too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I pictured it to look like when 11 kind of like goes in her mind, and it's
Yeah.
literally just like the person, and it's like dark.
Oh,
that's what,
yeah.
that's what,
Yeah, I heard that.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
my
yeah.
mind immediately went to was
Yeah.
just like their person and like nothingness.
Heard
But we're
that.
just seeing them in their environment.
Yeah.
The way that was shot
It was really cool. It was
Really
Yeah.
cool. I thought both actors did a very fantastic job of talking to air.
Did y'all think Raylo was gonna happen for like 2 seconds?
Yeah,
Because I didn't.
yeah.
I was like,
I-
I don't know what's happening.
Especially in the elevator.
I felt so much
No,
sexual
especially-
chemistry, you guys.
I thought it was happening.
felt
Yup.
it.
Oh,
Especially
I
that
felt it.
epic
I was
lightsaber battle that they do.
Or
Oh
when
my
they
god!
touch hands, I was just like,
I
no,
was
kiss.
like, oh my god, it's gonna
That's
happen.
really what I thought. I was like, they're gonna
Although-
kiss. No, please.
Random off topic observation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but two lightsabers do not crack each other once in this film.
Nope.
They do not.
No,
hit,
not once.
lightsabers do not hit once.
It's the first time in Star Wars history,
Nope.
that main canon movies, minus Rogue One, that no lightsaber actually touches.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay. And then Luke and Rey have their first lesson. Luke says the Force is not about power and floating stuff because they have that whole moment with the.
Blade of grass.
So
Yeah.
before they get to
I
the
feel
grass
it.
thing, my one hate with Ridley or Daisy Ridley there was the acting right there
Yeah.
that she had. Luke, we need your help because the resistance. Blah blah. I'm like, I don't know.
I didn't like that either.
There's something weird about that scene, right? That she was and the way that she acted there. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if she had to do reshoots and she just did not feel well or something. But just the way that she was acting right there. Luke, we need your help because this, and this, and this. And I'm like, oh, something's off about that. Did anybody else catch
I felt
that?
like they had cue cards up.
Yes,
behind the
yeah.
camera.
Oh wow.
It was
I'll have
really
to go back and watch it
strange.
again.
Yeah.
I didn't pick
I
it
feel
up.
like I didn't catch on to that, but also I feel like the weird because I feel like there were at times where it kind of like sounded like she was maybe like bored or something.
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
really strange.
But I think you have to think about it. Like she's been there for how long, constantly repeating this to Luke. Like you don't know if this is the first time she's saying these sentences to
This
him.
is true.
It's
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah.
She's probably like, ugh. The resistance needs your help.
Yeah,
Like,
it was just like from the rest of the movie, it just caught me off guard. I'm like, I don't know what, like even the first time that I saw it, on Thursday, I'm just something's up. Like, it
This
was
could
very
also
strange.
be like ADR recording that they did after
That's
they
true.
shot the movie
Yeah.
too, which is different surroundings and like different.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
sometimes you can tell
So
when
it
an
could've
ADR
been that,
recording is.
too,
Yeah.
so.
All right, so you had the first lesson with the
first
grass,
lesson, and then we see the Rey have her first moment.
dark side moment.
Temptation.
Yeah. And so you see Luke like having those eyes of just fear, and then he said the only person he ever saw with raw power like that was Ben Solo.
Yeah, he wasn't scared then, but he was now.
He is now.
I'm not dealing with this nonsense.
He's like, heck no. Next scene, Kylo and Rey have another telepathic Force Jedi moment, whatever you call it. And then the next scene, we see the scene that should have been cut out of this whole movie.
Canto Bight.
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Canto Bight. Yeah. That's
Oh,
the
I
plan.
feel.
There's a book.
Oh, that should
There's
just.
a book.
Oh, I'm not reading that book.
I don't know if we passed it or not. Did we pass Chewie cooking the porgs?
Oh yeah,
we
you forgot
far
that part.
past that, yeah.
Chewie cooked the pork and didn't eat it because all the birds were like, "Oh my god, don't eat my friend."
Dude, I love that scene. I
That was an
laughed
incredible
hysterically.
Oh, it was funny.
What does a porg taste like?
Chicken.
It looks delicious.
But I loved like the second one that he had actually had the feet still on there.
Kentucky Fried Pork.
Oh,
or
I cannot
Octu
talk about
fried
it.
pork.
Oh yeah, because that's right before Luke and R2 met up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Octofu?
So yeah, Canto Bight. I thought it was very
Canto Bight
strange. All right,
happened.
so I'm not gonna lie. I think I told you this after the movie. I was really disappointed. For one reason and one reason only, because I really thought that the what did they call it?
Canto would be
That
where
Lando would show
Yeah,
up.
I
at
thought-
It would have been the
Canto. I
perfect
agree with
place.
you. Yes.
I thought he was the hacker or whatever it was. I really thought that's who it was going to be because they didn't talk about who it was or
I
anything.
didn't even think of that. I just thought you'd see him at a table. It would be a 2-second thing. He'd say something about, "Oh,
And
sorry
then
to hear about Han Solo." And
Anyone who knows anything about Billy D. Williams knows how much he loves Star Wars. He literally did his VO for Battlefront when no one else besides John Boyega did it. And he was like, I would be available. They didn't call me. Like,
And he even did Lando in the Lego movie.
Yeah.
Like he'll jump on board
he
for
loves
Star
it,
Wars.
like,
Yeah.
for real.
So I was really surprised. I thought it was a missed opportunity that they could have just, even just for a quick cameo that he could have
2
been
seconds.
in there. I thought because the dude who was the cracker or whatever, I can't think.
Benicio del Toro.
No, not
no.
him.
He
The
was-
real
I
one.
thought he
real
he
one.
looked so out of place. That's
Oh,
one
Justin
of my only
Theroux?
gripes.
Yeah.
I feel like he looked so out of place. He looked like he should have been like the villain in a Bond movie.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
just felt
Yeah.
like he didn't look like he belonged
Yeah,
in
it
Star
didn't make
Wars.
because I really thought because they kept mentioning that was going to be him, but I thought the girl that's like, hey, did you hear anything? I thought she was going to end up being the cracker, and then that's when we meet up with Benicio.
Oh, did anyone read and figure out Joseph Gordon-Levitt's cameo?
No, what is it? I saw the headline.
He's
I
on
didn't read it.
Canto Bight. He's the one that tells on the security about them parking on the beach.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's that guy.
He's that guy. He's the one like, yeah, they parked on the beach. and just-
him you can't park here.
Yeah, that's Jogo.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I think Jogo is a lucky charm for Rian Johnson because he's been in every single one of his films.
What's the other? There was someone else in addition to Joseph Gordon-Levitt that was in the movie. I thought that was in the same article, but I don't know.
Mark Hamill voiced a CG character in that sequence.
Yeah.
On Canto.
Yeah.
No, there was another cameo.
But
I don't know
there
what
was
it
a cameo. I don't remember who it was though.
I can't remember.
All right, we got.
Okay. And of course, Finn and Rose got caught and got sent to holding. And then next scene, we see Rey practicing her bow staff skills. And then we see her with the lightsaber and she sliced that rock, that big old boulder in half.
Those nuns get pissed.
That almost.
I
nuns get
love
pissed,
the
yeah.
caretakers. They're so
So
cute.
cool.
And they just look up.
We hate you.
Very good.
I love that they were practical at least.
Yes.
Yeah, they
So
were.
good.
Yeah.
Lesson 2. Luke says that the Jedi are known deity levels because they are no more, but in reality they should be known as failures. And then Luke gives Rey his version, the condensed version of what happened.
The somewhat edited version.
Before you get to the Kylo part, I love that for the first time ever, the movie was directly tied to the prequels. This is the first time that Luke ever said Darth Sidious.
Oh yeah. that's
Yeah.
right.
So it was the first
true.
time ever that any of the new movies actually tied, to prequels or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
nobody's
Which
ever
was
said Darth
nice.
Sidious before.
Also, can we talk about that subtle Rey's face was half in shadow, half in light during that entire scene?
I didn't
Beautiful.
notice
Did
that.
not even
Beautiful.
notice. Yeah, did not
Nice.
even notice.
Yeah, I just love the the Jedis were so into their heads they let the evil.
I love that he
happen.
said that.
But yeah, that was the Luke. He's just like, oh yeah, I just sensed evil in him. I came to see, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, you're gonna die. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Basically.
Yeah, no, that's not that. That's not
I want you to revoice the entire movie.
Oh my gosh.
We could do that.
We could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We should totally do like Mystery Science Theater.
Yes.
I
would totally
I
do
know
that.
in those flashbacks that Adam Driver plays young Ben Solo. I couldn't tell. Do you think did they CG'd him a little younger, or
No.
was it just like makeup?
They-
I think it
It's
was
makeup.
just like, we're going to make
Makeup.
you look like you're smaller.
No,
He
they did
looks
makeup.
like a baby when he shaves his facial hair
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. good
Yeah,
point.
he looks like
All
the
right.
big baby. Okay, next time we go to space and we see the medical cruiser get taken out, and the guy's like, "Oh my god, that was a fun."
That poor guy.
Oh.
I've seen him before somewhere. I can't think of where though.
And
Me
then
too. Probably
can-
like
can I
another
also-
Star Wars movie.
Say how much I love a lot of this movie takes place in space. Like I think like half of the movie is is in space.
With one of my biggest gripes of the movie too.
Really?
Is that it was all space?
Well, no. That it was the longest chase scene ever, and that the First Order could just be like, "Hey, can you just go light speed just a little ahead for me, and then we're just going to attack them from both sides." No, we're just going to chase them.
I mean, that's a good point, but you have to suspend disbelief. I also building on that. One of the other things that I loved a lot about this movie. This is just a general thought, but I'm someone who I like to think of what my place would be if I was in the Star Wars universe because I'm weird.
You'd be a pork.
Yeah, I'd probably be a pork, but I never would see myself as a Jedi. I never saw that. I always saw myself as more of a resistance fighter or whatever. So I really like don't get me wrong, love the Jedi, don't hate them, but I feel like most of the Star Wars movies are super heavily
about
centered
Jedi,
on the Jedi mythology and that story. This movie was like a Rebels movie because even the Jedi things that happened were really dependent on the rebel things happening. So I really like that.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. I never thought of it like that before. See, y'all be hating.
I think that's why I liked Rogue One so much because
Me
it wasn't
too,
really.
because it was a war movie.
Yeah.
Besides that last 15 minutes.
Fire.
Okay. All right, we see Benicio del Toro for the first time. I hated his stuttering gimmick.
Yeah, the stuttering I thought was unnecessary.
But I
thought
see why
just
they
gave
did
a character.
Yeah, give it to him.
Yeah, I was like,
DJ, his name is, by the way.
Really?
DJ for don't join.
Yeah, don't join.
He has don't join and our brush on his hat.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, they said officially his name is DJ.
And I honestly, the first time I watched it, I did not like him at all.
Really?
The second time I watched it,
Yep.
I was sold.
Same. I did not like him the first
I
time.
need to see it a second time because I felt like they wasted Benicio del Toro because he is such a great
He
character
could come back.
actor.
I think he's gonna have such a big part in part 9.
Well,
I really do.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out in the universe. Was I the only one that thought that he was gonna be on top of that ATM-6 instead of BB-8?
No.
That's
No.
what I thought, and I was
That
like,
was my assumption.
Seriously?
No.
No, I really thought he was a dastardly dude.
He is. He's exactly what he's
Well, no, I
supposed to
shouldn't
be.
even say dastardly. He just knows what he wants,
He's
and he's
every
going to
man
do
for
whatever he
himself.
can.
He lived by
do.
his philosophy.
Yeah.
Live
From
free,
the
don't
get-go.
join. I want that on my
Yep.
chest. Live free, don't join.
that he lived by his philosophy, and that's what I liked about it the second time around because I didn't really get it the first time.
Yeah.
Second time around, I was like, this guy
I
rules.
feel like
I
once
liked him
if
a
you
lot. I liked
really
him a whole lot.
listen to what he's saying, everything he says
It's
is
like-
really
It makes
really
sense.
cool.
It's about he's basically like no one's gonna be there for you except you.
Oh, what does he say?
So
What is
I'm
it?
gonna stick up. I'm gonna be there for me, and that's it. If I get paid to save my own tail, I'm gonna get paid to save my own tail and sacrifice you too. And that's what he did.
What does he say at the end? Oh, they blow you up today, you blow them up tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, that's true.
So the jail scene, you had BB-8 shooting coins,
Which I thought was a neat scene.
but
It was adorable.
Once again, it felt prequely to me.
it did.
was adorable.
I was fine until he blew out the smoke. I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
you a droid, you don't have air.
Cute, though.
And then we had the chocobo scene. Oh, I'm over that.
The what?
It's Final Fantasy reference.
The weird sheep people
Weird sheep
things. I don't.
people
What are
thing.
the animals?
I grew up in a crappy town and
The weird animal things that they
Oh,
were.
the
they're
horse-
not people. That's why
horse
it was like
type-
sheep people. What are
Yeah,
you talking
whatever
about?
they are.
And
Okay,
then we
I
s-
want to say, I want to defend this because I know y'all are hating on it. I think that the Canto Bight scene plays heavily into the overarching theme of failure, which Luke talks about and Yoda talks about, that they failed in Canto Bight. They pretty
Right.
much failed for the most part.
Mhm.
I feel like it's a learning experience, blah, blah, blah. Again, like I said, I love a good animal liberation. And I also think that the ending scene of this movie is one of the best Star Wars ending scenes. That ending scene is Star Wars, and if we
Of
didn't
Canto
have Canto
Bight?
Bight, the ending scene of the movie.
Oh,
With the
But
kid.
Canto Bight
You could have done
brought
that.
that.
You could have done that
You
in the
could
comic
anywhere.
book. You could have done it.
Because the ending to the Canto Bight thing, I thought was one of the cheesiest things that
I
we've
hated
ever
it.
done in Star Wars. No. I'm just saying that the whole scene, and then
The whole
it
thing.
topped off with the ending of like, oh yeah, it was worth it. We destroyed this town. Not yet. And then she undoes the saddle
yet,
thing. Oh, it's all good now. What just happened? That was so dumb.
I think,
And I love this movie, but that was so dumb.
I think I didn't like Canto Bight either. I thought it was just kind of like a filler 30-minute sequence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like the end scene of the entire film validated that entire
Yes,
thing.
yes, because
Thank you.
The fact that Rose shows the kid the ring, gives the kid the ring, and now he is going to be one of the sparks that will continue to
flame.
burn the First Order
that
down.
scene is Star Wars. Like that is
Yes.
what Star Wars is about.
And
That's why I feel the whole movie is
could've
about
done
the
it anyway.
spark.
I
You
think
could've
that
done it
also
with
goes back
someone
to
in
what you were
Crait.
saying earlier. How
Yeah, you could have
people
done that
just
on Crait.
hate on parts of this movie and don't have any kind of validation toward it, I feel like you can dislike Canto Bight but understand the purpose that it serves.
And that's exactly how I feel. I hated
And
Canto
that is
Bight,
Star
but
Wars
I
in a
know that it
nutshell,
was
though.
important
Like,
for
if
that
you don't like the prequels,
scene.
you have to appreciate their significance. Even if you don't like the prequels, they're significant and important.
Yes.
Where I agree with you, or Didi and I were just saying, you could have still done that, on
Anywhere.
Crait. You
Anywhere.
could have done it anywhere.
There could have been a kid on the ship and be like, "Oh, here you go."
I
Yeah.
do
Here's the
wish
ring.
that Crait was used more.
But-
I really do, because they hyped up Crait a lot.
At the
Oh,
same time,
great.
I wouldn't want it to have been like a kid that was already part of the resistance. It needed to be kids that had nothing to do with the resistance.
But someday
But they
will.
could one day continue the resistance.
Because that also backs up the whole raise and nobody thing.
Exactly.
Which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But
Heard.
I think that just further solidifies that idea.
All right.
Anyway, continue.
All right. So Luke and Leia have their first moment of the movie. It was really quick, where Leia was passed out.
Oh, yeah.
Luke, Leia. And then Kylo and Rey have another moment where Kylo, where Kylo gives his.
I heard that
Too
he's
many.
shredded.
Can you put a cowl on?
Is
No, he's normally that shredded. If you watch Girls,
He was
he's
making an SNL joke.
If you watch Girls, there's no mystery
Yeah,
to
there's no
Kylo
mystery.
Ren.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Well, then. Okay.
I'm just being
We'll
real.
save that for the girls podcast.
What'd you say?
So Kylo gives
Nothing.
his version of the story, and then Rey decides to go in that deep dark hole of doom that's on the island.
Yeah.
And then they have that really cool. This is why I want to go to the.
This was a really cool scene.
That
the
was,
really
like,
cool, like
so
snapping the
not Star
sound.
Wars.
You mean like this?
Sound
Like-
engineering,
Oh,
like, and
just
then,
like her moving the hand, I thought was really
I
cool.
literally
Yeah.
thought, I don't know, you like Harry Potter. Did you think of the Mirror of Erised like immediately? Because she was like, show me my parents.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I have a theory based around the "show me my parents" thing. Allow me to pick your brains for a second. So when she said that, you see the two figures walking up, and it's like all mirrory and stuff, and then they combine into one,
Yeah.
and then she looks, and it's just her. I think.
Don't tell me
Kylo-
Immaculate Conception again.
No,
Oh my god.
I think that was trying to represent the whole anybody can be force sensitive kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like
that was.
I don't know. I'm getting weird vibes. Maybe Kylo doesn't know about her parents.
Yeah, I don't
mean,
think he knows either.
I think I'm the only one that doesn't care about what's her face's
Rey's
parents.
parents, yeah.
I
But
never cared.
I
about
doesn't
don't
that.
know.
matter.
If what we
I just,
learned was
why
true,
would-
I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
That they're
Yeah.
scruffy nerf
Has
herders,
some kind of
and
significance, man.
I'm
and
okay
the
with
fact
that.
She said, "Who are my parents?" and it was just her. That's important. Whether
Yeah.
or not you think Immaculate Conception is stupid, I think that's what Rian Johnson was trying to push you toward.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I want to say, I was going to bring it up. You know what? I'll talk about this when we get to the throne room scene. Let's
Okay.
just keep going. Never mind.
So
love-
after the deep dark hole of doom, Kylo and Rey have another moment. That's when they touch hands.
Well, and that's what's cool too, is that the whole scene that she's in that deep dark hole, dark
It's her
forest
talking
thing.
to-
When she's doing the narration,
Yeah.
you think that she's just talking to herself,
Yeah.
but she's actually talking to Kylo the entire
Yeah.
scene.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was really neat. And then Luke sees it and then kicks Rey off the island.
Get out of here!
Get out of here, you nosy little pervert! I'm gonna stop you, silly.
But they have that really cool little
But Rey and Luke though, they have this awesome fight scene.
and you notice that Luke does not fight whatsoever. He's
Nope.
just defending himself.
yeah,
Yep.
And he
he's not
catches
fighting
himself
back.
when he falls. with
Yeah,
the
that was
force.
pretty dope.
which was pretty cool. Which was pretty cool. So Rey's convinced that
She looks awesome.
So
in,
Luke tells-
in the rain with a lightsaber.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
hello,
Yep.
Let's be
She
honest.
does.
Luke.
Hair she has.
Yeah,
You just
Luke.
lick your lips, Didi.
Oh.
Not on purpose.
Oh my god.
Luke finally tells Rey the real story of what happened with
The
Ben.
real story.
Yeah.
The real
Can I-
story.
Can I just say something real quick? Because when Kylo tells his version of the story, when it shows Luke and Kylo's version of the story,
It's
I was
horrifying.
was
Evil.
scared
Yeah.
of Luke for a second there. That was
He looks
freaky.
He's like that maniacal,
Like those wide
look-
eyes,
yeah.
like,
my God. Yeah,
oh.
kind of honestly, low key reminded me of Palpatine, right before he went full
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Sidious,
yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
Which was an awesome scene, by the way, in episode 3.
I was like, dang, Mark Hamill got it.
Yeah.
This was the
Like,
best Luke I think there's ever been.
I agree. I've never
Yeah,
been
he's
a
not
giant
cheesy.
Luke fan, but this has been my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Luke.
I like Luke.
curmudgeon Luke.
It's really cool. And so Rey's convinced about turning Kylo face. I use wrestling terms. While Luke isn't feeling it, and she decides to leave before she gets lesson 3.
This is not going to go the way that you think. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And just
But I love the whole.
Did anyone
But they leave on
catch
the Falcon
that?
too, which was cool. I thought.
and
it
I'm
was
sure y'all caught the souvenirs that Rey took with her from the island?
Well, not
Yes,
yet. It's
at
not.
the
It's
very end,
not yet.
It's not yet. We're not there yet.
Oh,
We're not there
okay.
yet.
Not yet. Not yet. So that's when he is like, "Screw this! I'm burning it all down."
I'm burning the Jedi. I'm burning the Jedi texts. Yoda shows up.
Didi did
Freaked
backflips.
out.
Puppet Yoda.
I
I
did it.
laughed
I
and
did it.
cried that
Freaking
entire
puppet
scene.
Yoda.
Which I'm
Yes.
sure,
Yes,
which
puppet,
I'm
yes.
sure that was in the trailers. See, this is why I
No,
don't
It
watch
was,
it
trailers.
was
not
not.
in the trailers.
No.
and-
Yoda was a surprise.
Okay, so let me talk about Yoda for a second because I really dug into this when I found out he was in the movie. So they went out of their way to make sure no one knew Frank Oz was in this.
Mm-hmm.
They made him eat lunch in the production office. They would not let him eat
Wait,
with the other
real quick.
cast
So you
members.
found out about Yoda before the movie came out?
No,
Oh.
this is after the movie
After.
came out. There's articles about how they hid Frank
and
Oz.
then how they had to convince him to not ask for his name on the poster. They got the original molds for the puppet from Empire to make this new one.
Which is cool.
And that whenever he would go visit any of the other cast members, he had to wear a hood over his head and be covered and escorted everywhere.
Now, this is
That's
where
incredible.
I will say that Yoda's appearance was the one thing that was spoiled for me on social media.
What? Are you serious?
I was just browsing social media and
Wow.
it showed up on my
Yeah,
I would
this
have been
was-
upset.
this was
That
definitely-
was like probably the one thing I would have cared about.
But-
This is one of the
One
part
thing
I
that was
definitely
spoiled
lost
for
my
me was
crap.
the Rey with the Kylo saber thing.
that was in commercials. But I had an inkling before I found out the spoiler. I had an inkling Yoda might be in the movie just because when they did the world premiere, Frank Oz was at the world premiere, and I'm like, Frank Oz doesn't show up to anything unless it's important.
He also disowned Star Wars at one point, so
Yeah,
He was at weekends. I'm just saying.
He
Just
was, and I
saying.
saw him,
It's
and it was
true.
great.
That's true.
Wasn't that,
We were
wasn't that
there.
one of the
We were
times where
there.
I saw you? Probably.
One of the many times, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
there. So with that being said,
Did anybody have a problem with Force Ghost
Nope.
calling down lightning?
nope.
no,
Absolutely.
he's
I
more
love it.
powerful than you'll
Zero
ever
problems with
imagine.
anything.
Just curious.
I didn't dislike anything about
Nope.
that sequence.
I loved it.
Honest.
Do you
And
think?
his little laughing.
Yeah, it
I
was,
loved
it was
it.
old school Yoda.
Loved it.
Does he know that Rey has the books?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
I think that's why he did
Yep.
it.
That's why he did it. Yep.
That's why he said there's nothing in those books that Rey does not already
Page turners,
possess.
they are
Page
not.
turner, and then the best part is Luke goes, well, but yeah. With that being said, we all you heard, and then this one hit me like basically when Yoda basically said failure is the greatest teacher. That got me. I was
That
like,
was the
wow,
best.
that's so true because that's like my number one fear. We're getting personal here. That's like my number one fear is failure, and so that really
Same.
hit me like a ton of bricks. So like,
I think you're
yeah.
a winner.
Oh, thank you. And basically tells Luke to not lose Rey like he did with Ben. So that was like a big. So we got DJ showing up again. He shows that because like basically there was a scene before this real quick that Finn was like, oh, these arms dealers only sell to the
Empire.
to the Empire, and that's it. And then
They're all
basically
bad
DJ
people.
They're all bad people, and DJ was like, no, that's not the
They
case.
sell to the good guys too.
Yep, they sell to the good guys too. So that was also
Any way they
kinda-
can make money, they
Yep.
will make the money.
Yep. And
You guys
so,
got to get it from somewhere, right?
Exactly.
That's true.
That was so Iron Man. Sorry.
It was. All right, so we're kind of getting short on time. So like the first order, the next scene's first order takes out another supply ship, and it's I think it was the medical ship. That was the last one, and only the big giant cruiser is left. And so Poe is going crazy on Admiral Holdo, and then finds out the plan of like where they're going to abandon the ship, and that's when we get the whole scene with Poe doing the trying to do a coup with the whole thing. And
Also, can we also mention how they finally remembered that the blasters can be set on stun? The only other time it was ever set on stun was A New Hope.
or when Buzz Lightyear
I
said
really
his
enjoyed
stun
the use
laser
of the
from
stun.
stun to kill. Toy Story joke. Come on, it's all Disney. Come on. Same universe.
But there
Everything's
was ever
Disney now,
a
literally
reason
everything.
for stun?
I don't know.
No.
I was
Finn, Rose, and BB-8 get on the Dreadnought to destroy the tracker, but the BB-9E unit, we've seen his first appearance.
Yeah.
But she was so underutilized.
Who?
BB-9E, I feel. I thought
It
that'd be
was,
like a really fun
but
battle.
But it was better than the black R2 unit that they had in Rogue One that they really hyped up too.
Yeah,
I
true.
was happy
Yeah,
that he
good
had at
point.
least like a
Yeah.
little bit of time.
Yeah.
I feel
Cool.
like they were only hyped up to sell that merchandise high key. I don't think that they were super important in their conception. And
Yeah.
then merchandising got a hold of it and was like, we could make toys out of this.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad we
That's
did
when
not
they were
see a
everywhere.
BB-8 versus BB-9.
But
Yeah,
they're so
yeah.
Yeah.
cute.
That's what I'm saying. They're not cute. But
Like-
like, please tell me that anyone would have bought that Sphero if they didn't hype it up.
It's true.
Like, I already think there was too much BB-8 in this movie. That's just me personally. I think there was too much BB-8.
I think
Okay.
people felt that about Force Awakens too. So
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
So that's when the elevator scene happened.
That's when the elevator scene happens, and then, but first we also get our first Kylo and Rey face to face. That's right there.
Since
The elevator
Force-
scene.
Fun
since
fact:
Force
that
Awakens.
scene is framed the same way when Vader takes Luke.
Sweet.
Like that entire scene is framed and shot the same way. Fun fact.
And they basically
Very
talk
cool.
about turning each other, either face or heel,
Yeah.
whichever way you see it. And then we see Rey and Snook encounter each other for their first time.
Nope.
I knew what you meant.
Snoke.
I knew what you meant.
Snook.
It's
I
like
know
the
what you meant.
Georgie Shore. all right?
Listen, like that Jedi, like that Star Wars Twitter account says. Anyway, yes, you're translated.
No, that's not the same way as Snoke.
Thank
There's
you and
one
good
way
night.
For Snoke, I'm 90% sure.
Like if I want to say Holdo, I'm gonna say Holdo, which is next.
So, that whole scene, no, it happened in a couple different shots.
Yeah,
right? Okay.
because the rest of these scenes kind of happen concurrently
Okay.
from here on. Because this is where it gets
Gets
amped up.
real.
All right.
Yeah, stuff gets real quick.
Yeah.
So Holdo and the others unarrest themselves because Poe's a
Because
retard.
Holdo's
I
the
can't-
best
I
and-
can't stand Poe. The tractor door opens and Finn and Rose go in with because DJ hacked the thing real quick, and they are stopped and get arrested. And we see Captain Phasma for the first time.
It only
Good
took
to see you
2
again.
hours.
Yes, girl. And Gwendolyn Christie does more acting with her eyeball than anyone will in their entire
That's
life.
not yet.
I'm sorry.
Golly.
I'm sorry.
So
I compartmentalize
There's
them
so much we
by
wanna talk about
location,
right here.
not by scene,
Yeah.
scene.
So we see Leia get up and we didn't see her get up, but we see Leia appears and blasts Poe, stuns him, and then Leia and Holdo have a moment before Holdo takes herself out to piloting the cruiser while everyone decides to abandon ship, and then Leia's like, "Oh no, don't do that! We lost enough people." And then
And they both try to say, "May
I-
the Force."
I
It's like,
did-
no,
I
I've
was-
said it enough. You said.
Yeah,
it.
that's
the
what I was
best
gonna
friends
say.
say
I did
goodbye.
love that
Carrie
that
wrote
part.
that scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The part where she's like, "Yeah, I said it enough. You go ahead and say it." And you could tell how much loved that
Laura
Laura
Dern
Dern
was like-
had for saying
yeah.
that. Like you could see the fangirl in her coming out right there.
yeah,
I mean, even in interviews, she is just like beaming all
Yeah.
the time
Yeah.
about like just everyone and everything.
Yeah.
I think she talked about like the first time she met like Chewbacca on set. She like cried.
Yeah.
I cried when I
So
met
sweet.
Chewbacca.
I cry
Yeah,
when I meet
he's
him
a-
every time.
did.
I meet him like all the time.
I did. So Snoke and Rey have their this is awesome. Snoke
This
is
was
showing
really
his
cool.
his
Yeah.
his business, and I'm like, yes.
Mhm.
I was freaking out. I was like, yes, do it. Okay, but anyway, and basically admitted that Rey and Kylo only had their little mind connection thing because of him, and then he kept doing this whole gimmick, and then we see Poe
Give me everything.
basically. Oh yeah,
It's problematic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I thought
her levitating in the air and screaming
Oh.
is like the coolest thing.
I thought a xenomorph was gonna
She
pop
right
out.
with the lightsaber, and he just went.
That was so cool. Yeah.
I love the shot though that you didn't see his whole face. You see like mostly just his hand and then just a little corner of his eye as he's saying that
So
line.
cool.
Oh, it was so good. I loved it.
Very
I would like to see
creepy.
Daisy Ridley in an alien movie. It looked like she was like xenomorph was ready like to just.
Sherry does have the Ridley name, so
Oh,
It's Ripley.
Ripley actually. It's okay though.
Ridley Scott.
Oh,
I get what you're
Fail.
Get what you're
Fail.
saying.
I thought there was about to be fist thrown.
That's my
Fail.
thought. I was like,
Fail.
well,
And
she wouldn't be playing Ridley
It's a
Scott.
whole other
That
universe.
would be boring.
All right. So we see Poe wake up, and then Leia tells him about the lesson of like stop being, quick-witted and all that jazz.
You got to be a leader, not a hero.
Not a hero. And Poe's like, "Oh, you're right. I'm sorry."
Whoops.
Next scene, we see Finn and Rose. We see. Well, first of all, let me tell you about this scene. The just the backdrop of like you see all those the ATSTs, the AT-ATs, all those
ATM-6s.
ATM-6s. You see all those troops.
It goes on for days.
Yeah.
My gosh,
Yeah.
how awesome was that scene in the
Oh,
Dreadnought? That was so
question.
cool.
Question.
I got an
know
answer.
Prince Harry and Prince William and what's his name? I love him so much. Tom Hardy were all in it. Do you know which ones they were? Because
I don't
still
know which
haven't seen
stormtroopers
ones
they
are.
Stormtrooper number 74.
The stormtrooper that was in the background?
Prince
23.
William and Prince Harry, because they're all like 6'4", both of them, or something, or like 6 foot and above. I think they were when they initially got arrested. I think
I'd have to look it up. I don't know if
I
they've said
think.
if which
because
ones they
that
were
was.
yet.
I think I read somewhere that it's when they initially get arrested that Prince William and Prince Harry are two of the stormtroopers. I don't know about Tom Hardy though, but I would have to watch it and like look at their heights.
He should
Yeah,
have been
I don't
masked.
know. I just was curious because I feel like that'd be a little more prominent than like, oh, there's a stormtrooper way over there. Like,
Right.
You know.
Kind of like how Daniel
Sorry,
Craig
go on.
had a few lines
Didi.
and stuff. Yeah.
Oh. Very educational. So we see Finn and Rose get in front of Hux, and then Hux smacks Finn with a big old smack.
Lots of slaps.
Lots of slapping.
I wish Hux took off his glove and went.
Yes.
All for naught, princess. You idiots.
We find out DJ basically sold himself off to give him up, which he then tells them about the resistance. Which he then told him the resistance plan, which was really ooh, what a poop move. I was like, man, this piece of monkey crap.
But he's so good. I love the character.
I love
really
it.
do.
Yeah, especially after the second time watching it. And then after that, they start taking out the escape pods, I was just like, oh my gosh. I started
douche. Just one shot at a time.
Oh man, it was just. I thought they were just messing around.
It was painful
purposely
to watch.
missing.
Yeah.
Poo poo and then pow and then poo.
Like, you just see their numbers drop further and further.
Dude.
And
I
further
know. I was
and
like,
further.
are there two left?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's when I thought they were going to take out Leia.
But how about like when the executioners show up? Right there on.
Oh man.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what it was, but that weapon itself, I thought looked so cool, and just like the lasers emitting, and you see the smoke coming off of it.
What do they say? Like, it will kill you, but it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. So
I
we
don't-
see. Oh no, go.
I was just gonna say, like, the two blades for whatever reason make it like way creepier than if it was just like one blade.
Well, it's so you can have steak right afterwards.
Yeah.
So you just have a little dinner
It's
afterwards.
already sliced nice.
Yeah.
Sliced nice.
Hey.
A little T-bone.
Really, really cool sequence. So we see more of Snoke. Sorry,
Oh my god.
playing around with Rey.
He throws the lightsaber at her head.
Yep. And then we see Rey getting Kylo's lightsaber real quick.
Well, not yet. No.
No, she
not-
tries to pull her blue
She
one.
tried to pull the blue one.
That's right.
Hits her in the
Yeah.
head.
And he hits her in the head
Pulls Kylo's.
and pulls Kylo's.
And that's when he throws her back over to Kylo, right?
And
Yep.
then she's
Yes.
like,
And
All right.
then that's when we see
Baby,
Kylo.
please.
That's when Snoke order Kylo to kill Rey, and then we see the
he's, like,
heel turn
narrating
happen.
it.
Yeah, it's
We
like,
s-
I can see everything that Kylo thinks he wants to,
And then
Well,
bam.
but so I was thinking about this. Kylo must be like real smart because everything that Snoke says is true. He's turning the lightsaber
Yep.
to face his enemy.
Yep.
So Kylo was literally like, I'm turning the lightsaber to face my enemy, like in his head, like over
Yep.
and over and over again. Like he's like, I'm not saying.
It was
"Oh,
just
I'm
the
gonna-"
delivery, and now he ignites it to strike down his enemy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. As cool as the scene was, though, how does Snoke not see him killing him? Like,
Well, I think that's what I'm saying.
It's
Though
'cause
Kylo
it's-
is
because
that
I think
strong
that shows-
mentally that he knows how
Yeah.
to deflect it so that it seems like he's going to kill Rey, but he's really going to kill Snoke.
Right, because he's
True
going to
enemy.
kill
I
Rey
just
with his
thought-
lightsaber.
I just thought, like, as overpowered as they kept pushing Snoke to be, that, like, oh, this guy should know that this is coming.
But it also shows how powerful Kylo is.
See,
Yeah.
I think that Snoke was pulling the words right out of Kylo's head. That Kylo was
Yeah.
thinking those things specifically and not picturing anything but those statements.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. But I think also though, when you're that strong, I think you kind of let it go a little bit because you're like, no one's gonna beat me, no one's gonna pull one over on me. He literally says that. So I think his hubris got the best of him.
Was anybody else disappointed when Snoke was killed off?
No, I wasn't disappointed.
My only complaint with that was I did kind of want more background.
Yeah.
But again, I think
Yeah.
But that's what novels
that
are for.
entire throne room scene got
Not
rid of everything that you would expect a typical Star Wars movie to do.
I've got the feeling we'll find backstory. It might be in comics or novels,
Yeah.
but
Or we could not, and then it just reinforces the fact that Snoke never really mattered because JJ didn't give us anything
Yeah.
on him.
Right.
He
Yeah.
left
Yeah.
it wide open. He was rendered to a plot device because he's not the main bad guy. Kylo is.
Yeah.
And that him dying was Kylo's main way. Not killing Han Solo, but killing Snoke was his step up to get to like that Vader level.
Yeah, it was
and that's what he needed to do.
it's part of the whole Sith gimmick. Yeah, the apprentice always has to kill their master.
Yeah, so I get it. It didn't answer a question that I had, but I understand why. Because it was answering a different question.
But that was an awesome.
Hey,
that
did
was
anyone
awesome,
else snicker when they showed the close up of Snoke's dead body
he
and his
was all-
tongue is sticking out?
Not yet.
That was
Hold on.
so
Not
good.
yet. First,
So,
the
first.
most epic, I think, Star Wars battle
So, I don't
that
think
dothough
so.
have to battle.
It's pretty
each
good.
other.
This was no.
That
I
was-
have issues with this one.
That
so,
that initial shot though, you cannot say
Okay,
that
them
initial
back and
shot
forth.
was
Oh, okay,
not
that was
the
cool.
most
Dude,
beautiful.
okay,
And
I
they're
think the
opening
imagery-
lightsabers,
the
and
imagery- Yeah. It's very yin and yang.
so nice.
It was a very yin yang imagery.
Yeah.
I loved that.
What was your issue, dudes?
They had a problem taking out those guards. I'm just like, for as BA as they're both supposed to be, they could have just.
Well, I don't think Rey is.
Well, mainly Kylo then.
Yeah,
Kylo
Snoke would
should've-
have brought in the best of the best.
Yeah.
Kylo is better than the best of the
And
best.
they very clearly have more training than a regular stormtrooper. I'm willing to bet you that Snoke would have had them take obviously not Jedi training, but I would say like a hybrid between like regular stormtrooper training and like actual fighting training.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
All I know is he holds that lightsaber behind him, flips it on through
That's
the
cool.
eye.
Oh,
I
so
love
good.
that every single one had a different type of weapon too.
That was cool. I like the guy with the
The 2 blades.
two blades. No. He
whip?
had the whip.
Yeah.
The whip,
I like the guy,
He
the
had
guy
the-
that was pulling right
He had the
in.
whip like Ivy from Soul Calibur.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And with that being said, they try to face and heel turn each other again. With Kylo saying your parents are scruffy nerfers, you're nothing. So join me and we could rule the galaxy. As whatever.
As something new. No good, no bad, no Jedi.
That's true.
No first order.
As like it's in Coder,
Let the old die.
the gray, Force folks. Just saying. Coder's a big part.
Let the old die. Let the
the
past die. Kill
I
it.
liked that
if you have
idea,
to.
but I definitely think that it wouldn't, with Kylo in charge, that would not remain
Oh
as
no,
the
I don't think
neutral.
so. No way. We all know what the real objective is.
Part of me watching that, I was like, I want him to turn back to the light side. Like I wanted it so bad, but then also I knew it wasn't going to happen because he is irredeemable at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Next, we get probably. Oh my god,
Oh, this moment.
the craziest scene ever.
The light speed.
We see the Lightspeed seppuku, which was unbelievable. That scene.
I love.
Something I never thought I wanted to see in Star Wars.
Blew my
but I'm
mind.
so glad
Yeah.
they did it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that
beautiful.
it was silent.
I was
Yeah,
just going to say
10
that.
seconds
the
of
silence,
dead
so
silence.
powerful.
Because it was so funny. Like every single time I saw it, you hear like one or two people go, "Oh,
Or
and
like,
then all of a sudden,
"Whoa."
every single time
I know,
I had
every single
Didi,
time.
Didi was the third one.
And all the different
I went-
angles and
like I didn't even yell it. I just went like seppuku, like
yeah.
Oh my
What?
God.
The
it's a Japanese way of that's how
Of
the
killing
Shinto they
Yeah.
kill
Oh,
they
I
kill
gotcha,
themselves
gotcha.
instead of
When
actually
I went and
dying.
saw it, no one said anything.
Oh, see
it
this.
was dead.
It was
everyone was in
no,
shock. Yeah.
Like you heard
Mine
heard
was like
like
wow,
that,
or
but
like,
nothing-
whoa.
No, the second time it was the
Keanu
best one.
Reeves,
It was even better than
whoa.
yours.
Whoa,
The
that
second
was
time
when
it
I
was,
like, wow.
oh I died laughing because this guy literally his mind was blown.
that part.
It was really cool. Really
Blew
loved
my
it. Yeah.
mind.
And then
Really,
at the
really
very
awesome.
Same time, the lightsaber snapped.
Oh yeah.
Also
Kylo and
crazy
Ren
and
do
great.
have Kylo and Rey. I'm sorry, have a force stalemate, as I like to call it, in the Vader's old lightsaber broke.
A little Jedi tug of war.
The Jedi took
Once
a war.
again, let the past die. That lightsaber gone.
yes.
Although she still has the two pieces.
She does have the two pieces.
So then
I
we
want to know if she stole that red kyber crystal that was just hanging out in Luke's room. Did you guys
I didn't see that.
There's a red kyber crystal hanging on the wall with the compass that he stole from Palpatine.
I totally forgot about that. But see, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if she made two lightsabers? What if she had like a blue lightsaber and a red lightsaber?
No,
Someone
Well, we're gonna get to
suggested
that at
she
the
would
end.
Fashion it to her staff.
I was gonna say she's gonna have a double
Nice.
lightsaber
She oh, that'd be so beautiful.
because that's what she knows how to use.
Yeah,
so
she knows how to
A
use both
second
of this.
shout out to my boy Darth Maul.
That's depressing. They
Snoke
wasted
died in the same
they
way.
they wasted him, but they wasted him in episode 1. But anyway,
They did. It's so true.
But he
this is
survived being cut in half.
So-
according to
yeah, if you watch Rebels and stuff.
All right,
But
we
anyway,
gotta go.
we gotta keep going. So anyway, this is where Phasma demands the execution of Rose and Finn. That was the next scene. And then after that, we see. Let me see. I'm sorry.
well, that's when everybody gets blown up and they
Yeah.
try to escape.
Yeah. So when again, this all happens concurrently. The Dreadnought's blowing up, and this is where we see BB-8 in the ATST.
Yeah.
Just saving everyone.
Yeah.
And then Finn and Phasma have I think it's a pretty neat scene. They fight.
it's a
with
quick
the-
fight.
It's a quick fight, but you see Finn with the Tonfa, and you see Phasma with that like I don't know if that was a
Sewing
staff or a rapier or a spear.
something like
Yeah.
that.
It was really
BB-8
cool,
still in the background shooting fools.
which was very funny.
Yeah.
And then basically Phasma, which Finn won. Phasma basically gets blasted away into oblivion, which we do not know where she went. Which
I don't think
I
she's
have a
dead.
theory about.
I
that. don't
always,
think she's dead.
I always
she's
knew
dead.
you were
Me either. She's
scum.
gonna show
Yeah.
up again.
Rebel
We did
scum.
not physically see her die.
But I love that everyone was wanting an unmasking at that point, and Ryan Johnson didn't give it to us.
Screw you guys.
Yep.
But the eyeball was enough.
Yeah.
God bless you.
So Rose and Finn gank an escape shuttle, and we find out that Rey took Snoke's escape pod, and then Kylo basically took over as the Supreme Leader thanks to Hux almost killing him and said, "Oh,
My bad.
The Supreme Leader's
You're
dead.
awake.
all hail the Supreme Leader."
That's a Crait happens.
Great happens. We see legendary Pokemon, and then
One
we see
of those was a puppet.
really,
It's a
Yeah.
very nice puppet.
and then we see Finn and Rose appear. Right before the thingamajig went down, the door went down, and that giant base. BB-8 and Poe reunite. I think that was their first time in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy, just a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like tickling BB-8 and stuff. It was kind of weird.
That was kind of weird.
Kind of weird.
He loves BB-8. I was just gonna say it's like
Yeah.
his dog.
I know it's still kind of strange.
That is very strange.
It's like those people that have love with cars. It's still kind of strange.
Leia sends out a distress beacon to nearby Resistance allies, and
They
then
do
we
not answer.
They don't answer because they're a bunch of punks. The First Order, you see this giant laser battering ram. I guess that's what it was.
Yeah.
And it
That's
basically
Star Trek.
lands on. And the next scene we see is an awesome battle scene. We see the more. I don't know if you want to call it dogfighting or I don't know.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Kind of, sort of, but of course the Resistance gets annihilated.
Because the stuff that they're flying, their
They're
speeders,
Very
are
old
awful.
ships.
Garbage.
Which great scene with Poe basically
his foot through
showing
it,
their
yes.
the
garbage.
foot, the
scenes.
foot coming through the floor.
He's like, oh boy,
Yeah,
we're screwed.
this is good.
Garbage will do.
And then we see the Millennium Falcon show up to save face, which helped quite a bit.
Takes all the TIE fighters
I
with them.
hate that
Take
shit.
Yeah, they hate that ship.
They need that.
Blow that piece of junk out of the
Blow
sky.
that piece of junk out of the sky.
I popped every single time I saw it. Yeah.
Man, Adam Driver's like,
I like-
oh, he's life.
As much crap as emo Kylo gets, I love it when he gets super angry like
Oh,
that.
he's awesome.
I live
Yeah.
You would
for
love
him.
girls.
He gets real angsty.
Yeah.
You would love girls. Obviously,
Yeah,
that-
you
you would.
Really? Okay.
Really
So
should
we-
watch 10 episodes. I don't mean like that.
I'm not talking about you. I'm
Nope.
talking about something about the show girls.
It's episode 1 though, for real.
Lord.
Oh God.
So we see Finn about to commit seppuku.
I
save-
totally thought he was done.
Yep.
I almost
thought
cried.
that's-
and you
This
know
is
what?
the only part where I almost was like, we were in the theater, and the theater's quiet, and I literally go, oh no, they're not. Like I kind of said it pretty loud. I was like, oh no, they're not, and I just like dropped. Like I thought they were gonna kill him off.
I would have been fine with it. I think.
I would have been fine with it, but I would have been very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like that'd be his like ultimate redemption. Like
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah.
deserter, but he actually
Exactly.
like, stayed.
Exactly.
But I love the irony of this that Poe is now the one saying you need to stop,
Yeah.
you need to pull it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that shows his character arc has like.
How did Rose
touched
get
out.
up there that fast though? I want to know
That's
that.
what
I
I'm
thought
wondering.
Rose knocking him out of the path, which would have killed them both.
Yeah.
I thought that was stupid.
And also, they were laying there right next to all of the
Yeah. They,
First Order. They could have
Yeah.
just shot them. Boom,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So that whole little kiss thing or
That's
kiss
Andrew.
scene, we're like, yo, we're not gonna kill what we hate. We're gonna save what we love. That was cheesy, and then the kiss thing was like, I'm
The
dead, but
kiss
I'm not
and then
dead.
fall over
I'm
was
just
a little like abrupt.
Come on, Ryan Johnson.
Ryan, what are you doing, brother?
Ryan,
Come
we're-
on,
Ryan.
stop it.
Ryan,
We
this
get
is,
it.
This is not a CW show.
I thought Finn had feelings for his one and only Bay, Ray. So
That would have been cool.
You mean Poe?
Oh,
I'm also down for that.
my god.
So that's when Luke shows up, right?
Close. And we see Kylo take out the total annihilation of that base, which was actually a really cool scene because he was really intense.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just love it when Adam Driver gets intense. So we see Luke shows up and talks to Leia. They have a moment, which was really nice.
That's that line. I was crying.
Yeah,
From
that's
that
why-
line to the end of the movie. I was crying.
Yeah, I was
that's
all.
why I thought like it's too meta. Like
Not
some
me.
of it sounded like it was written too
But
on the nose, but
it's just the circumstances
Yeah.
of her passing. It was never meant to.
I know that's just like
Yeah.
it's a weird like clashing in my brain.
so after that happened,
Before you go on really quick,
Ooh.
I know we're running late, but did anybody else feel as though it was weird when you first saw it? Of like, huh, he cut his hair and he dyed his beard.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I
That's what I
thought.
said. I was like,
I was
this
like,
is
woo!
strange.
Yeah.
Look at that. He went shopping.
Yeah, I was like, he met up with Emmett Smith. He got that just for men, and he's all set. Like, I didn't understand what was going on.
He was riding the get hype train. That's what he was doing. Woo!
So that's when he met up with. He went outside.
He went
says, "Yo,
outside.
Kylo, what's up?
Said, Kylo, what's good, my dude?
And
And
then
Kylo goes,
fire every blaster
every
on
single
him.
blaster, every cannon on that man.
More.
More.
And Huck's like, ceasefire. Do you think we got him?
I love that. I love that whole
awesome.
thing.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. So when Kylo was like, all right, fly me down there, close up shop, don't come out there until I tell you to.
Yeah.
When Luke set his lightsaber up, did anybody else realize it was the
was the
lightsaber?
old one.
From
No, I
episode.
was so in the moment that I
See,
didn't
I totally
even
did.
notice.
Episode 5?
Yeah.
Oh, I noticed. Oh, yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, why? That's his.
With the, like,
that's
the red
his-
piece on it.
No.
It
It was
He's talking about
It was the one that just got snapped in
It was
half.
Anakin's lightsaber.
Lightsaber. It
I
was
was like, wait a minute,
Anakin's.
that doesn't make sense. He wouldn't have that lightsaber. It
He
would be
would've had the green one.
Yeah.
He would have had the green
Yeah.
one.
You had the
He
green
also
one.
didn't make any noise when he took a step.
And if you look at the steps,
They're no.
the second time you watch it, his feet don't make any marks in the sand on Crait, but
Nope.
you can very clearly see Kylo's. When you move the salt, it gets red.
I thought the second one was his feet.
No.
Wait, what?
The second time that they show someone's feet moving on Crait.
No, it was Kylo's.
That was
Kylo's.
Kylo's
Because he
too?
went because that was when he went again to do that step, but before he went at him.
I'll have to look at it one more
Yeah.
time.
Place.
Because remember the first time he took the step and boom like that, and then ran. That's when Luke did the whole Matrix gimmick, or whatever.
I
That was the
I
first
need to
time.
see it again.
I
Then.
just love where Luke's like, "I'm sorry, Kylo," and he's like, "I bet you are."
So that was pretty neat.
But
The whole
that's when he
scene
did the
gave
whole
me
Ben
goosebumps,
Kenobi.
dude.
If you strike me down, I'm going to be with
God.
you just like your father.
Yeah.
And
I got goosebumps. I
he
got tingles.
he totally tried to, and when he didn't go down, I'm like, huh? What? I don't understand what's happening here. Like, is he
I don't-
God now? I'm confused.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on. And then when he stuck the lightsaber through his chest, I'm like,
He's like,
huh?
He's
Like, I don't understand. This is a hologram. Like, what's happening? I didn't understand it to begin with.
so you're saying, okay.
Like
okay,
to watch
okay,
the
okay,
first
yeah,
time
yeah.
or whatever.
Gotcha.
Not that I hate it. I don't understand it really.
Right.
From a Star Wars fan perspective. Especially with him holding a physical thing like the dice in his hand and giving them to
But
Leia.
did you see
I know
they
they disappeared later, but it was still weird to me. Of course, like we said, let the past die, and it changes
And he was
everything.
still able to like touch Leia, kissed her on the forehead.
Yeah,
So he's still
yeah.
able to be.
Yeah, it was it was still kind of strange. But that scene when they immediately go over to Achu, whatever the heck you call
Bless
it,
you.
and
Octo.
and he's flying Zenyatta style. And
Aw.
oh my god, I popped like crazy. I lost my GD mind. I'm like, yes!
Yeah, that was.
He's alive!
Projection.
That was
Only
really cool.
for 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes and then he ascended to heaven.
Dude, hold on. The line where the smirkily just goes, "See you around, kid."
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then just disappears. Oh, we did forget about the brushing off the dust after.
That was
the,
pretty
the-
neat.
yeah,
Shoulder.
Pressing off the shoulder, I thought was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Was anybody else kind of thinking that it didn't make sense for him to die 2 minutes later, or was everybody fine with it?
I was fine with it because I
That
felt
was
like
cool.
he
I was
used
fine.
all of the energy he had left
He did.
to pull that off.
Exhaustion.
And he said, "I came to this island to die."
Mhm.
So
He,
I was
like
completely fine with
Kenobi, gave in and just disappeared.
Okay,
I thought that was great
So-
that he surrendered himself to the Force just like that.
So we'll see him.
Which means we'll see him in 9 probably as a Force ghost.
I would
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
That'd be dope.
I hope he appears more as a Force ghost to Kylo than to Rey, kind of following Kylo around and picking on him.
That'd be funny. Okay, so while that's all happening, we do miss the part where Poe is like, "Oh, how do we get out of here?" Everyone's asking, "How do we get out of here?" Poe finds out that we use
Follow the Pokemon.
follow the legendary
Crystal
Pokemon.
Critters.
Crystalline, yeah, whatever it's called.
Legendary Pokemon.
Volptexes. Okay.
And
Alolan.
basically they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're stuck by rocks or boulders. We're stuck." Rey shows up. She goes really Super Saiyan and like does the
List
whole rock.
all the rocks.
All the rocks. All the rocks.
And that's when we finally get the Finn Ray meet up again.
Finn Rey meet up.
And finally, the first time, Rey and Poe.
I did not know that. I did
And
not
you
know
saw
that
the
was
way
the first time
Poe
meeting.
looked. When she moved those rocks, he was like, "Oh."
I did not expect her to be that girl.
I'm Poe.
Well, before we get
That
there,
introduction made my
that's when
life.
Kylo walks into the base and sees the
Yes.
dice, and then that's where they disappear. I didn't like the whole dice thing just because we
Yeah.
didn't have any type of perspective about the dice
Right.
beforehand.
Same. I'm
like,
with you on that one.
apparently they were there the entire time in all the
But
original trilogy.
you see him grab the dice from the Millennium Falcon the first time he boards it.
Oh
earlier
yeah,
in the
I know,
movie.
but I'm just saying, like, we have no connection to that prior to that.
Correct.
Like, if I would have seen something else that was like more connected that I'm familiar with, I think I would have had more of a connection to it. But
Right.
the whole dice thing, like, I don't remember seeing these before ever. Okay, it's no big deal. I was fine with it. They did explain that they were there, whatever. But I was kind of thrown off about all right. I don't. Really,
I'm with you
yeah.
on that one.
Yeah, it was kind of random, but I think it added a nice little thing.
Yeah. They needed something. I'm sure they couldn't bring the training droid or
Right. They would need something that
Yeah.
Leia would have known was on the Falcon for years and
something
years.
smaller.
Right.
something.
Like-
Yeah. So yeah.
That's pretty much it.
and then that's when they go to the
that's when
the
you
scene
see
on the Falcon.
The scene on the Falcon. You see that Rey has the Jedi text in it.
Well,
In the
when she's closing off the door to Kylo, so they have that
you
one
still-
last connection.
Yep, they have that one
She
last
hangs
connection.
up.
So they still have. You could tell they still have a voice connection,
Yeah.
and then finally
She closes the door
that's it
on both to him and to the Falcon.
Yes, which was cool.
And then Leia finally gets her Chewie hug that she did not get in Force Awakens.
Yeah. I thought that was really funny. Yeah, and of course, we see as Finn's going to get a blanket or whatever for Rose. That's when you see the Jedi text inside the Millennium Falcon. So obviously, Rey took those before she left. Did anybody sense a little bit of disdain for Rose from Rey there? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
There was a bit of a look.
What's
I don't
going on
know.
there?
I don't know about like disdain. I think she was definitely kind of like,
Yo,
"Oh,
girl,
Okay.
that's my boo,
I hope so.
Now we got to deal with a love triangle.
or square.
Oh, true.
Pose feeling it.
Yeah, post like yo.
He's feeling it, and he's
Yeah,
so
what's up?
charming. Oh.
And then that's when this is where rebellions are built off of or whatever. What was that
the
line?
whole spark gimmick?
The spark.
Or the spark.
Yeah, where do we go?
the
Where do we go from
fire.
here? And he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is what we
We have everything
yeah,
we need.
That's it." And then that's how it closes off or whatever.
And
And then that's when we go to Canto Bight. And
Broom boy.
we have
the broom boy.
we have storytelling of Luke Skywalker and as Broom Boy is walking off. It's funny because I don't think a lot of people noticed it until you're watching it more and more and more that
He uses the
when
Force.
Broom Boy uses the Force in order to catch the broom. And because it's funny because my middle daughter did not catch it at first, and she's like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he totally
I caught it because
forced
I
it."
remember talking to you afterwards, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Did you catch the kid
I
totally using
caught
the
it.
broom?" Like,
Yeah. So here we go, that new generation of Jedi or Force wielders, whatever they may be called now, start off, and here we go for episode 9 of new shenanigans with the
True,
Force.
true.
Right, that's the title. New Shenanigans with the
And
Force.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, I hope anyway, by the way, best ending ever, but I like to think that would be symbolic of next episode, that like youth and the younger Force users coming into play more.
Yeah,
Because I'd like to see like that kind of meet up with like the Knights of Ren.
yeah. I don't want another scene that Master Skywalker. They're coming.
What are we to do? What are we to do?
I'd be like,
Yes. Do it. But like I said, overall, I absolutely love the movie. I know I've had my gripes with it, but it did not deter me from being entertained as all hell from
Yeah.
this movie. I loved every
loved
single
it.
aspect of it, and like I said before, Kylo's line of let the past die, kill it if you have to, and that's what Rian Johnson did, for better or for worse. I love what he did with the movie.
Yes.
I know a lot of people hated it.
I loved it.
But that's the first tweet I sent as soon as I saw the movie, that I have full confidence in what Rian Johnson's going to be doing with this new trilogy.
Yes.
The question is, though, what is JJ going to do with episode 9?
Make it return.
I hope he continues this pattern.
His playing field's wide open, because if Ryan Johnson had done what we wanted him to do, like give Kylo his redemption and everything, JJ would be making Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's what he's gonna do, and I'm gonna be
And-
mad.
No, well, he doesn't have to now. The playing field is wide.
Has he said that is it confirmed that he's writing 9? Has anybody said that?
I think Ryan Johnson already wrote 9.
And then
I think.
JJ's just directing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys can fact check me on it, but I feel like he like laid out the timeline for 9, or he's writing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
I'm worried.
My philosophy is why continue to have these new stories and new installments if we're not going to try something different?
Exactly.
Risky.
Right.
I'm all about it.
I'm worried.
Real quick, do you think Rian Johnson's trilogy will take place after the events or before?
So I'm hoping.
I'm hoping before.
He talked about before that he wants to talk about the origins of the Force, or the Jedi, or whatever. So I hope before. I know I've said before that I want KOTOR as a movie, and he already said that it's not going to happen. But something to that effect, that I want like super old mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah, like real backstory.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. But yeah.
So
I don't
everybody
know.
says go see it.
I say go see it.
Yep.
I want to see it again. Talking with you guys has got me thinking about it more,
Yeah,
because
please.
initially when I got out of the theater, I was like, whoa, that was amazing. And then I talked about it and I was like, oh, that had some problems. But now I'm like, I need to see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I need to see it again.
Yeah.
I'd see it
See it
again.
like 5 more times. Anyway.
Again, of course, besides the glaring issues, I wasn't a Poe fan in this movie, in my opinion. But other than that, and some minor stuff like Superman Leia, it was great. I loved it. I loved it both times. I'll see it again, and again, and again,
Same.
and again.
Anakin.
Snook.
Snook. I like Snook. Snook sounds.
Sneaky Snook.
Snooky.
What I thought of was the Sneeches from Dr. Seuss. I don't know why. The little guys with the stars on their belly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Care
I
Bears?
just thought of the fish, the snook. So that's gonna be it for our first ever spoiler cast. I know we might have been a little long, but we all have lots of thoughts about it. And we want to make sure we don't miss anything.
We hope you liked it.
Yeah. If you want to see more of said spoiler cast, let us know, and if we go see movies, like this again,
So we can do Ferdinand next?
How much money did that make? I just
don't
want to know.
I did not see.
Ferdinand.
I'm sure you couldn't see as much as what you could Star Wars.
Yeah.
So we should do spoiler.
Actually,
cast
I don't know if
Jumanji?
we can
No.
see what Ferdinand made. Probably can't see it.
Yeah, you probably
Han
can't see
Solo?
it. Probably can't see it.
Wow, was that bad?
Come
It was
on,
a John,
John
Cena joke.
You can't see him.
come on. Yeah. I think that's gonna be it for us. I know we usually do the whole shtick before, or at the end or whatever, but we don't have to do that this time. I'm just gonna end it like this. May the force be with you
May
May the force be with
all.
you.
always.
Get